Okay, now that we've started, thank God I noticed that only a minute or two into not starting. We have, as normal, the Rural Farm Boy.
The one and only. Howdy, friends.
We have another regular person on here for the chat, Charlie Skywalker.
Hello, everybody.
And we have, for the first time joining us, actually in the chat, on the chat, he's been a member of the chat many times. We have Charles from Conversations.
Hello.
How is everyone doing today? Welcome, Charles, to this.
Welcome, Charles.
Thank you very much.
Whatever you want to. This wonderfulness of fandom that spans all over the generations and worlds and all that good stuff.
I am doing
I don't know why
fantastic.
that's just not working.
Yeah, there's so many of us here right now from all across the United States. We got the North and the South and the West all representing.
Just trying to give a little.
So I just did.
There we go.
I just did the drawings for I reached 500. If you guys know, I did the contest for 500, and I was giving away. That's still right here because I haven't moved yet. One of these guys. I'm trying to get it without a glare. The Kylo Supreme Leader and the Whisper Funko Pop. And I said if I hit it before Christmas, I would give away 2 of them. And I hit it before Christmas. I just haven't had time to do a drawing. I have a lot of stuff from a new segment coming out. I don't know if you guys remember when I was doing the Mandalorian watch with Michael Pappas. It was the TooMedToo channel featuring Michael Pappas. Now him and I, whenever we get together and can have a chance to record, we're gonna do the Coruscant Coach's Corner. I don't know if you're familiar with hockey and Coach's Corner.
Don Cherry.
Yes. And Mike, after he has a drink or two, sometimes turns into Don Cherry when he gets going. Sometimes when Mike gets going like Don Cherry, sometimes I get going like Don Cherry just by myself when I'm talking on here.
That's great.
I was over at his house on Christmas Eve, and we recorded 3 segments of the Mandalorian review. I don't think people really watch me and Mike for the news. It's more of entertainment just to see, what the fuck are these guys going to do next? What are they going to say? Kind of thing. So, it's Mandalorian 5, 6, and 7 that I have, that I just have to put. There's no reason to edit them. I mean, that would take the fun out of everything. I just need to put them up. But yeah, so that's going to be kind of, it could be once a month. It could be once every 6 months. Who knows how our schedule is? It took us 3 weeks to be able to record one time, and that was because we were in person together. So I went over to his house to play Oculus Quest, whatever the Vader Immortal system game is.
Yeah.
I went over the Oculus.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went over to his house to play that, and we ended up recording 3 episodes instead. So I still haven't played Oculus Quest yet. It's just he's all the way out on the other end of. He's in Queens, but I still have to, when I take a train, I take the train as far as it goes, and I still need to take then a cab for 20 minutes or a bus for an hour and a half.
Wow.
He's out there. I mean, if I had a car, it would take me 40 minutes, so it's not that bad. But I don't have a car. I could take I don't know. I could probably catch a cab on the right day if I catch the right time. Uber or whatever with a discount or something like that. For like $25 or $30, but it's normally about $70 if I was going to take a cab one way.
So he's out there. He's out there a good piece past where Pappas is, as I understand that. That right?
No, that's where I was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm down here and he's up over here, but you know,
Okay.
near here and there. So yeah, so as soon as I have some time to put that up, maybe this weekend, this week, get those up there. Just they're everybody already knows what happened in the Mandalorian. It's just watching us geek out and turn into 5-year-olds over some of the stuff we see. But and who knows when the finale review will come. Hopefully before the next season starts. So we got 10 months
Plenty
for
of
that.
time.
But, yeah.
You can walk there.
Yeah. So what else has everybody been up to?
Well, I'm up in the Great White North. I'm on vacation up in the homeland, Montreal. So we're in the middle of a snowstorm up here, and
Oh, that's right. I forgot, Charles. You're from up north of us.
yes, indeed, Montreal. Yes, indeed. So we're hunkering down with a snowstorm today. We're supposed to go see the Rise of Skywalker with my family, but the weather prevented us from doing that today. But we're going to go see it January 1st. But I have several questions from the family who've asked to clarify some things. I have one nephew who hated the movie, and I look forward to interviewing him and asking him questions. But he is 100% ready to see it again and experience it for the second time. And I think, as we all know, a second viewing is almost critical for this movie. I've seen a lot of people talk about seeing it twice and understanding and seeing key points that are missed because of the pacing or just the storytelling within the first viewing. And that happened to me 100%. And I appreciate it so much more the second time around.
How much of that's going to end up on your show, Charles?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna do the interviews with my family, and Pat was the one who suggested it today. He's like, "Oh, you got to interview him." So we're gonna try and package that together, and maybe we have notes that we've both taken, obviously Pat and I, about the movie and how much we loved it, and how much the second viewing was just even more immersive and fantastic. So we're gonna try and put that together for an episode, but probably not in the next few weeks. So it may be behind everyone else's immediate reactions, but I think it'll have some emotional weight because it'll have that time to sort of simmer and cook and get our real feelings in it.
Yeah, no, take your time. I'm looking forward to that. I'm
cool.
Not worried about whether it matches up with everybody else's.
Right. Well, I appreciate that.
I want to hear what Ian's got to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what matters.
Yeah, I've seen it 4 times, but I haven't seen it in. It's like it feels like it's forever. I haven't seen it in a couple days. And I saw it Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday, or no, whatever it was. I just I saw it 4 times, and then just haven't seen it in a couple days. So now talking about it, it's like, oh, it seems like it's so far. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yes.
I have.
I already have it at home, and I'm not going to go and say how and why, but I can watch it anytime I want. I've been to the theater twice. First time was with my youngest daughter, Alexandria, and the second time when I had both my girls, and we got to go see it there again. And in between that, I went and found it. So after we're done here tonight with this live stream, I can go watch it myself again. And if somebody wants to know how to find it, send me a DM. I'll help you out.
Expect a message.
Yeah. Let's just say someone we know also knows how to find it. And that may have been their 4th viewing. But it's
sort of kind of way.
Always they're always interested in finding different ways to view it, so that they might get a better copy of it.
Gotcha.
Not somebody walking in front of the camera or the camera shaking or and I do not in any way advocate piracy or stealing. I mean, at least go see the movie 3 or 4 times, 2 times, whatever.
I never said that. I never said that I walked with a peg leg or had an eye patch or said "R." I never said that once. I never said that once.
That's awesome.
Johnny Orm did. Johnny Orm did a couple times, but I never said that. So
Was that
All
for
right,
the
long
Mandalorian?
enough. Pardon?
I think Johnny was doing it for some shows
Mandalorian.
that you can't get over there on time. Whether it be the Mandalorian or I think sometimes like the Resistance.
Yeah, both of them. Both of them.
Hmm.
He does what he got to do. That's all, and I don't blame him for it. He does. What
Yeah,
he
you
gotta
know,
do.
it's,
Well, I'll kick it off by saying, from the first viewing that I did, the crawl that that I read had me immediately grabbed for an excitement level I haven't experienced for a Star Wars movie in all of the 9 movies. I went in as much as I could with no preconceived notions, as little spoilers as I could expose myself to, as little as the hopes and wants that I wanted to have for the movie. And the dead speak exclamation point had me immediately. And it was a fantastic experience from the first minute, and it never let up. It was a fantastic movie.
and so I just want to say, so you know, I always have the 9. I have 3 T-shirts that I wear that aren't Star Wars. One is a Gizmo T-shirt from Gremlins. One is a Marilyn Monroe T-shirt, and one is a Bigfoot hiding T-shirt. So I mean, you know, I'm going to say at least 9 times out of 10 you're going to catch me in a Star Wars T-shirt. So this one, we have this one on. I don't know, James, if you're watching this or when you do
Stitch
watch
list.
this,
Nice.
you're
Very
probably
nice.
at. I think you're at a party somewhere right now, from what I've heard. So yeah,
James from Rebel Scum.
Yep.
I'm not seeing him here in the live chat, so I was
well,
hoping I would, but
James will be watching it, I'm sure. And you know, he'll have his comments on it to give.
he'll have so many comments as he always does.
You know,
I love
and all the
him.
you know, it all depends on how late this goes, how long it takes for us to get done talking. You know,
Let's give
you
a
know,
couple little shout outs to the chat room. We got Wanda Flanagan. We got Mr. Rez. Yes, that's my Star
Mr.
Wars
Rez.
brother. Yep, Mariah Kitty. Let's see who else we got in the live chat. Charlie's also in there too, and so am
Yes,
I.
indeed.
Yeah, Charlie's in and out. He keeps getting kicked out of StreamYard, so I don't know if it's his.
Ain't
What it is.
technology wonderful?
So, as a veteran of 4 viewings, Michael, what's your take on the crawl?
I really have mixed feelings because I mean, it just starts off, here's the Emperor. You know, the Emperor's back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have been more interesting if they would have shown Kylo for a few minutes. You know, the same mission he was on, but us not knowing what he's doing. You know, trying to figure out why is he so frantic? Who is he talking to that he's going to kill? And then it shows the Emperor. And now us fans that are, you know, not the normies or whatever, are going to be like, is it a flashback or is it I can't think of the word right now. Is it a vision that he's having? Is it a dream?
Yep.
Or something like that? And then we find out, no, he came back, and then the Emperor tells the story on how he came back, that the acolytes of the Beyond, that the normal person watching it doesn't know about because they haven't read Aftermath, and don't know that the Emperor, before he died, you know, before you know, Star Wars even took place or whatever, he had these plans in effect because he saw the future. He had his shatter points and saw that this might be a future for him. You know, like with when the shatter points, which aren't canon, but when Legends shatter points, when you see them, you know, you see and it shatters out where you have all these different things that could happen. You know, so he's taking a contingency plan for all these different things that could happen. So he's doing that, and he, you know, then they take a few minutes while he explains it, or a couple sentences while he explains it. You know, I had foreseen this as I, you know, talked to your uncle about, or your grandfather about, or, you know, something like that, and you know, just whatever it is, something along those lines. Just so we don't just get slapped in the face. Well, here's the Emperor.
Oh, I see in the live chat what put Charlie Skywalker out. His microphone just come apart. That's why he's not able to be with us. And I see that Roe from Scarab Scuttlebutt just popped in the live chat. He says, "I'll join you in a bit." So yeah,
Nice.
well, we'll look forward to Roe.
Yep, that's Roe. Be stopping in here shortly, hopefully. All right, you know, so we got a full house again today. That's good. The more the merrier. We still got more room too. I think we haven't had more than 4 in here.
We got 6 right now.
No, I mean
like right now.
in the actual talking chat, not the. It's funny because I was talking to somebody else and I said there's the talking chat and there's the typing chat. So I think the most we've had is 4 in the talking chat, but I think it can hold up to 6. I think it can actually it can hold up to 10, but only 6 at one time can participate in the talks. But yeah, so I mean that was where I would have, you know, if I was, you know, this is of course the movie's made or whatever, I'm not gonna, you know, go crazy over it, but you know, I just think it might have been led a different way if it would have said, you know, didn't say the Emperor, and we gave us a few minutes to find out about the Emperor. You know, but that goes into my thing. I would have liked the movie to be longer. You know, it was 2.5 hours. They could have made it 3 hours easily. I actually think they could have made it a 2-part movie and done 2.5 hours for each part, because I think the first 45 minutes or an hour could have been a 3-hour movie, 2.5 hour movie, and the last hour and a half could have been a, you know, 2.5, 3-hour movie. But you know, they didn't. That's not what they wanted to do. That's not what they did. So you know, I mean, that's just how it is. Oh, hang on, fellas, we got someone else joining in now.
Who we got?
We have Andy.
Oh, yes.
From the Holo Chronicles.
Hey guys.
Andy!
Nice.
How's it going?
I'm doing well.
Star Wars, buddy.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the opening crawl right now. I was just saying that, you know, if I was in charge or doing whatever, I wouldn't have had the Emperor listed in the crawl. I would have had given a few minutes for Kylo searching, you know, us watching him search the way he did, but not knowing what he was looking for, who he was looking for, and then have, you know, the reveal be the Emperor, you know, right in the beginning to just set it up a little bit differently. But
Did you like how the galaxy-wide message was heard in Fortnite?
My kids did.
Yes.
I think they could have. They probably. I mean, it was a cool way to connect the video game with the movie, but I feel like they could have just done that in the movie.
Yes. Yeah. I think the different platform dispersion of the Star Wars lore is a great way of expanding that fandom. But you fracture sort of like the consistent message within different people. I only heard about it because of my kids, but had I not had that access, I would never have known that Fortnite was a place to be to hear one of the key plot points of the next Rise of Skywalker movie. So yeah, I'll be paying attention next time.
Yeah, in fairness, I don't think we are the demographic for that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a way to get kids involved that might not be involved.
Right.
that are playing Fortnite that aren't watching Resistance because Resistance is a kids cartoon.
Mhm.
So who wants to watch that when you can play Fortnite?
Right.
You know, I'm just going from that demographic and what I know of, you know, that age group and, you know, whatever it is. But all right, so we have somebody else. Let's see if we can do 5 on here, and we have 5
Wow.
now.
Hey, Ro.
Oh,
What's up, everybody?
good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Ro. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Evening, Ro.
Evening. I hear you guys are talking about Star Wars. Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
Trek.
today we usually do Star Trek, but
Okay.
today we're going to do Star Wars.
Okay, cool.
And see what we can do.
That would be great.
Because pretty much the only thing I can tell you about Star Trek, I could talk to you for about 30 seconds about Star Trek, and then after that, that would be it. And that would just be telling you who Captain Kirk is, and Data, and Spock, and there's a new show coming out, Picard, and that's about as much time as I could fill.
That's a lot. That's not bad. Not bad at all, Michael. Yeah.
I covered everything.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
So what's this Star Wars thing you're talking about? What is that? What's that all about now?
It's a little show.
That Star Wars.
It's the little engine that could. And it did. And it kept on going and going and going. And
For how
here we
many
are.
years?
And here we are still talking about it decades later. I think all of us had a few less wrinkles on our face, a few less gray hairs in our beard when we first saw it. Perhaps.
For sure. That's for sure.
That is definitely for sure. Where's everybody's red wine?
Say
There
again?
you go, Andy. There you
Eddie's,
There we go.
I got this for Christmas.
go. Nice.
And it's got the popcorn in it, that's been in here for
Mhm.
probably since Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, nice.
All right,
Oh,
My
no.
last-
Rose diving up for something. What do you got, buddy?
My last viewing of Rise of Skywalker, the children didn't want it. I don't know why, but I got the R2D2 popcorn
Oh!
and drink holder.
Oh!
yes.
And,
Good on you.
Oh,
Good
man.
on
The head
Yes.
comes off, your drink goes in there, the popcorn goes in the back. It's a sweet little droid.
That is pretty cool.
That's
you. Andy,
fantastic.
you got yourself one of them yet.
It's just a
Nice.
it was like for $20 or something, you could get a bottomless bucket of popcorn and a bottomless Coke. And they all had, there's different tops you could get, but I got a Night of Red.
You know, it's funny. Somebody, I think it was the Star Wars Junk Man posted earlier. What is this post? How old are you? How old were you when you were growing up, or when you were a baby? And I think we're all still babies. Look at us, showing our toys.
I'm a
Yep.
I'm a
Yeah.
12-year-old,
Action figures.
53-year-old as I sit here with
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I got the
disposable income.
when I came home for so I went to go see the first viewing out in Queens with Mike, and I got home and I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I wanted to get this R2D2 and I didn't get it, and she's like, you should have got it. Why didn't you get it? I said, because it was $50, and she said, I would have fucking killed you. And I was like, okay. And then and then
Oh, my.
then I went a couple days later with another buddy of mine, and I got the R2D2. But when I got it from him, I said, just leave it in the plastic. Don't take it out. Give me the bucket of popcorn and the Coke, because I don't want to have to wash it out and worry about it getting all nasty and dirty and stuff. And I came home and I just left the R2D2 in the plastic sitting in the kitchen. And then the next morning, she got up. She's like, what's that in the kitchen? And I said, oh, I got it from the movie. She's like, is that the thing? Is that what I think it is? And I said, yep. And she was just like, I can't believe you. Like, why would you do that? And I mean, you think about it, I got it for $25. Like, if I saw it in the store and it said $25 on it, I would have bought it. Because in New York City, a large popcorn and a large pop is going to cost you, $20-25. So, it wasn't really that bad of a deal. I mean, when you think about it, that
So
way.
you got
break
that,
it down.
Michael, you got that same one that Roe just put up,
Yep.
right? Oh, nice.
And they're
Yeah,
going for.
it was a very expensive popcorn drink holder, but I did somebody a favor and they gave me a gift certificate for our local AMC, so I came out winning.
Well, they're going on
Yeah,
eBay right now
boy.
for like $85-$100.
Wow.
Holy
So,
wow.
Yeah, that's
So,
I
so did your wife give you? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Did she give you that?
no, she just kind of knew. That's like, well, that's his toy for this payday. So
My answer would have been, I'm disappointed too, hon, that I didn't get two.
yeah.
One to keep and one to resell.
Yep.
Unopened.
Yeah.
I probably would have bought it from you.
Well, I'll go back and check tomorrow.
so.
So
Michael,
what's
does
up,
your
man? What are you guys talking about?
Well, we just, we kind of do it's like a free for all. The way it's kind of set up is,
pretty much?
anybody comes on that wants to talk, and it's like if you were going to go to a bar and meet your buddies and talk about Star Wars. So everybody has a plan on what they want to talk about, and sometimes those get talked about for a week or two. I was trying to talk about a comic for 3 weeks before we actually got to talk about it because there was other things that came up, but that's just kind of
Which
free for
comic?
all people. I don't
Excellent.
even remember what it was now. It was something from the guys at Broaxium when they gave me their list of stuff.
Oh,
So it's just kind of like whatever's on anybody's mind.
Mhm.
So we started talking about the Rise of Skywalker, and we were talking about the crawl. And the only thing we'd gotten out of it really is that I would have, if I had my choice, I would have left the Emperor out of it and shown Kylo going to find the Emperor, and we don't know what he's looking for or who he's going for, and then he finds the Emperor, and then the Emperor tells so then we have the backstory on how he came alive or how he's alive and how he survived, whether it was the acolytes bringing him back to life and he's really an animated corpse through all the theories that are out there right now, because nobody knows, because he says that he's died before, but does that mean he died when he went down the shaft, or he died before that or after that? And we'll find that out in some other story.
no, it's got to be that.
Well, I mean, it's Star Wars. You never know what they're gonna say or pull or try and do. But and then so if it was when he went down the shaft, was he like dead out and someone found him and they reanimated his body, or how long did it take? What happened? That's gonna be in stories to come, or is he back alive, or is he just an animated corpse with all of the Sith flowing through him that have been in the past?
What's funny, when he said that line, getting back to our original conversation of Star Trek, I almost felt like it was Spock saying, "I've been dead before." And but you're right. I mean, sitting in the theater, not 30 seconds have passed and Palpatine's already talking. It was like, where's the rest of the movie? That's what I felt. And obviously, from my perspective, I feel that the rest of the movie was going to be JJ's Part 8 if Rian Johnson didn't tackle that aspect of this trilogy. You can definitely see, and I've said it on our podcast, Episode 9 is a great sequel to Episode 7. But you can definitely tell that there were some storylines there that JJ really wanted to tackle. I also think that there are some storylines there that the higher ups didn't want to tackle, and there's a lot that changed even 80% into the filming. And obviously I don't work at Lucasfilm, but I know a lot of people that have connections and et cetera. You know, there were a lot of things that were kind of tossed aside story-wise that kind of sent them scrambling. And it's a little telling to see how rushed the ending was, based on a lot of the rumors that we've seen online, a lot of people that are talking about multiple endings and screenings. And I don't believe that there were public screenings. I think there were screenings within the industry and people at Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm employs a ton of people, and I'm sure that there were screenings within the company to be able to kind of tally what everybody thought, and not low level everybody, but high level everybody. I think it's it was a monumental task to be able to try and finish this story out, and I didn't envy JJ to begin with, and I'm glad Rise of Skywalker is doing better than expected. I think I kind of was bracing myself to see it crash and burn again, because of everything that's happening in the fandom. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and this time I went knee deep in every spoiler. I saw half the movie before I even got into the theater because people were posting clips on Twitter and everything. I knew how it was going to end. It got me a little worried, and I went in not expecting to be satisfied. But like I said, I think I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I'm happy people are liking it. Are there things that I would have changed? Hell yeah. But this was never going to be an easy task, and you're never going to please everybody.
Speaking of dyads, it is. It's kind of like JJ's plan for it, and then Ryan's plan for it were two different. Went in two different directions, and then JJ had to come and bring balance back to it, which was pretty complicated, I think, and in kind of a no-win situation too. Because the two styles were pretty different. And there are definitely those that preferred one over the other too. So it was a pretty monumental task. Wanted to throw this out there and maybe see what you guys thought. It's been referred to twice now about Darth Plagueis the Wise and his that quote from Palpatine as a senator and as the Emperor. But are we sure that that's even Palpatine? Could it just be Plagueis? That's just the latest iteration of him.
That's something to think about.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to go back though, and that scene in the opera when he says that line is really powerful. Mm-hmm. And I think if it turns out that it is Plagueis, it kind of waters down Palpatine's story arc in this trilogy as well. Yeah, I think we have to believe that Palpatine was the one that mastered this art, or at least tried to practice it, and tried it. And maybe Snoke was his attempt. It does seem that Anakin might have been one of his initial attempts to create life. And I know there's that comic book that's a little controversial there, where Palpatine is kind of like mixing it up with Shmi there. But I do feel that whole sentence had a lot to do with it. I do feel that Palpatine was, I guess in the long run, trying to create life by using midichlorians to be able to, jump from body to body and just basically become immortal. I mean, that was the storyline in the Dark Horse comic books when he made clones of himself. I don't find that a hard leap to believe that they pulled a part of that storyline to come into play here.
Yeah, fair point.
Do you think then, Andy and Ro, do you think then that the secret that Palpatine spoke to Anakin about was never actually a secret? He actually knew the secret to everlasting life, and he was just playing Anakin the whole time to be his minion, and therefore leading to the Rise of Skywalker, where he already knew eternal life, and it's just about the next minion he was going to conscript to work for him.
If I were Palpatine, I would not have shown my cards to anyone. That
Correct.
was his saving grace. So yes, I believe that Palpatine lied to Anakin about that because he had to. That was his advantage, and I think it worked out. Perfectly. I think Palpatine, from the beginning, even the prequel trilogies, Palpatine is one of the most powerful character because of his patience and his chess moves. He's always 2-3 steps ahead of the game, and I find his character fascinating throughout the entire saga. I know a lot of people are complaining over the fact that it does seem like in the long run Palpatine was the winner, but I also can understand and appreciate the fact that some people say, well, a Palpatine ended up, saving the galaxy, but Rey, being a Palpatine, Rey kind of chose to, I guess, reject her lineage and accept the lineage of the Skywalkers, which in retrospect, I think I find that pretty cool and badass. Yeah.
So, to answer your question, Charles, Palpatine knew that Anakin was unique, and anybody that spends any time in the Sith lore knows that it's not uncommon for the apprentice to kill the master at some point, and then becomes the master and takes another apprentice, and so for Palpatine to dangle the carrot of the one thing that Anakin needed to turn to the dark side, and that's to, be able to save his loved ones and have some knowledge of that power and never actually give it to him, gives him the reason to keep him alive.
Right.
And so again, while Palpatine's playing chess when everyone's playing checkers, he's always 2 moves ahead, and therefore he gets to dictate his apprentice who and how many, and Palpatine, even going back into Legends, had contingency plan upon contingency plan. He had more, Mara Jade wasn't necessarily a Force user, but was like an apprentice of sorts. Anakin was, and even Vader in extended universe took on or attempted to take on apprentices along the way too, because there's never trust between master and apprentice. So I think that's how, Palpatine could play. He could dictate his own terms, and say, well, there is this theory, or there's this power, this unique power to keep people alive. And by the way, he was my master at one point, and perhaps if you come to my side, then maybe I can share that with you. And then the ultimate tragedy is that he never does share that with Anakin when he did have knowledge of it the whole time, and so that's just him getting to make his own rules to his game and always make sure he's a player in it. So.
And you got to remember too where George Lucas is coming from the original story. He takes a lot of stories from religion. And what did the snake tell Adam when he dangled the apple in front of him? He was taunting him, and he was telling him, here are the secrets. If you take a bite of this, you'll know. That's exactly what Palpatine did to Anakin. Anakin tried to do the right thing, and his motivation was, trying to save Padme. You see that also in the Vader Immortal game, which is, supposed to be canon as well. So there's a lot there to kind of unpack and digest. So I really like that.
Have you taken a dive into that game yet, Rob?
Oh
Have you
yeah,
taken a dive into it? You did?
yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. I haven't done the third chapter,
Wow.
but
Wow.
the
Okay.
first part of the story was really amazing. And it's one of those things that you got to do a couple times because you've got the headset on and you're looking around and things are happening around you and it's really immersive. It's next level. It's next level. And that second chapter when you're face to face with Darth Vader,
I
man,
can't imagine.
His power.
yeah. And obviously and obviously I'm a little imperially inclined, as you can see behind me. So being face to face with the Dark Lord of the Sith
too.
is an amazing feeling. He's looking down at you and you're like, I'm listening.
You want to hug him.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, in that story, especially the second part, you're kind of a witness to seeing Darth Vader try some of this stuff to open some sort of portal to be able to reach in and save Padme. You saw a lot of that storyline, I guess, in the Rebels cartoon, which was fascinating. And the Charles Soule run of the Star Wars Darth Vader comic,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds
gonna
like
let somebody else talk
that.
while I go get a bottle of red. I'll be right back.
Oh, a whole bottle.
Yeah, that Vader game is what I was supposed to be playing. And it's like I was supposed to be playing, but I decided to do work instead. So it's like, what's up with that? But then again, when you're recording, podcasts or YouTube or whatever, it's really, it is work, but it's still, the editing's the real work. It's, the talking's not. That's why it's great when I do like the thing with Mike. It's just like there's nothing to edit. I just put it on there. What it is what it is. So, but yeah, I wish that Plagueis novel would have came out a couple months later than it did, because it would be canon then. Because it was, it's the only canon book I have that I've read, or non-canon book that I've read.
Okay.
I have Kenobi next because I never got in the EU because I didn't like reading. So when I was growing up, so I didn't read anything. I probably read a couple books in the late '80s, early '90s, but other than that, I didn't touch anything.
Can I make a recommendation?
What's that?
Yes.
I'm a huge Shadows of the Empire fan.
Wow.
And it's got the original trilogy characters if that floats your boat, but it's in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and it's on the way to go get Han back, and things kind of take a turn, and there's a really good bad guy character in it, and there's still Vader, and I mean it's entertaining, and I read it when it came out. I think it was like 94 or something. I can't remember exactly, but I read it then, loved it, and I read it once every probably 4 years or so, just because it's in my rotation of things. That was at a time when I wasn't reading a whole lot when I was in high school, but that grabbed my attention, and the video game that for Nintendo 64 was okay, and it had its own score. That was the video game had its own score, John Williams score to it, so that was kind of unique, but really
I just posted an image of that a couple of hours ago because I was flipping through. I have a Vader book, and it had artwork of that. Yeah, it was like 93.
Yeah,
somewhere there.
Yeah, great book. If you're into if you're looking for some legend stuff.
Shadows of the Empire, 96.
Yeah.
96. Okay.
Yep.
That was an experiment by Lucasfilm to see if the public wanted more Star Wars at the time. It was a period of time when there was not a lot of new content, and they went all out. They did the books. They did the video games, the comic books. They had a soundtrack. They had a multimedia presentation in the soundtrack, which is really cool. And
everything but a film.
The
Yeah, it had
Hildebrandt
everything.
brothers, the Hildebrandt brothers did the artwork for it too, and they did some of the original poster artwork for the original trilogy.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So it's
Yep.
it kind of ties it all up. I mean, it's a pretty, I don't know. Go read it. Good.
Yeah, it's really good.
That was 1 year before we got the special editions.
Yeah.
Wow. The fascinating thing I find that with my kids, having found that The Rise of Skywalker was their favorite movie that they've seen in the new era, in the sequel trilogy for sure, is that the amount of knowledge that we as Star Wars fans may have with the lore and the backstories and the contingency plan, for them, most of that is unknown. And if I explain it to them, fine, they'll know it. But they go into the story with open eyes and just with a sort of a clean slate. They see an action story with, and we watched every movie before we watched The Rise of Skywalker again. So and we finished actually with the Return of the Jedi, because I knew it was going to be a key part, because of course we all saw the trailer with Palpatine. And they went in there and they 100% believe that this movie was one of the best Star Wars movies they ever saw. So are we as massive Star Wars fans overthinking some of the plot points to reduce the impact for the entire saga versus, celebrating the next generation? You see the popcorn. But they're the ones who are going to take this fandom into the next generation within the next movies. And if they're excited about it, hey, great, we're going to have more Star Wars to watch.
Yeah,
That's a fascinating thing. Go ahead, Andy. It's
40 years from now, they're going to be us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
maybe.
Maybe you're right. Maybe they're going to take things super personal, Star Wars fans can be very protective of what they feel is important, and that can get a little dicey too if you're not careful. But yeah, I try to remember that too. I was in my 20s when the prequels came out, and I didn't like them as much as I liked the originals. But the originals came out when I was like, five when I saw Return of the Jedi, and I wasn't diving into the content. I just knew that it was funny when the Sarlacc pit belched. I mean, like that cracked me up when I was 5. And Luke was cool, and Han was awesome, and Leia, she was a babe. So like that was my extent of my investment, and I loved it, and I played with all the figures. And the next generation got maybe some of the special editions, which maybe was lukewarm, no pun intended, prequels, and then now sequels. So like every generation is getting a different trilogy to kind of dip their toe in and dive into, and that be their initial their initial dive into Star Wars. And so it's a good thing to keep in mind that we fell in love with Star Wars as kids, and we weren't diving into this content like we are now as adults.
Correct.
But that's really what generated the love that we have for it. We had our kids' mind into it, and it blew our minds, and it's still, and we still want it to, but now we're too smart for it. Now we gotta parse everything out and figure out what it all means when some of the stuff's probably just meant to be entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I had to run and get a refill, but I think that's what a lot of it is. When it's a generational thing. There are, I'm not going to say exceptions, but I mean, like as a whole, or if you take the majority, a lot of our friends that are younger podcasters, or content creators or whatever, that got started with Rebels or the Clone Wars, don't really identify, in anything movie wise, because they got into it after the prequels and were before the sequels. Where I have, like, if you asked me to, I'm not really one of those people that rate and number how the movies go, but I'd probably take 1 out of each one, the OT, the original, and
The sequels.
the sequels. I'm sorry, Andy just said he had to go. I don't know if he sent me a message that he had to go. He said thanks
Oh yeah.
very
You
much.
just skipped out.
Yeah, I don't know if you sent that message to anyone else or if that went to the group chat or not. But yeah, so like there's one of each one, and there's some parts of Star Wars that I think are garbage, but I just kind of try not to dwell on those or think about those because the other 2 hours of the movie are great.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It's just kind of like that. So, my there's a girl that I work with. I've told this story. She watched The Mandalorian. She loves Star Wars now, and one of her she's I don't know, early 20s or whatever, never watched a Star Wars movie before in her life, and was asked people what movie she should watch, and they told her Attack of the Clones, and she watched the first half of it and thought it was the best movie in the world. She loves the romance between Anakin and Padme. She thinks the scene where Anakin's talking about the sand is so great and true, and it's like that's the worst fucking part of the entire Star Wars saga. But she resonates with that, so that's what brings her to Star Wars. Then okay, I'm not going to sit there and tell her how wrong she is, even though the majority of the people think that she is. But that's what she likes about Star Wars. That's what she likes, and maybe that will hold her in or bring her into the rest of it. Because she said she thought Star Wars was all aliens and fighting, and that's what a large part of it is, but it really isn't. So it's kind of it's just weird what people resonate to. And my nieces and nephews were forced to watch Star Wars with me. Because that's I'm putting. You want to watch TV? That's what I'm putting on. It's kind of like when I grew up, I was forced to watch NASCAR with my dad because that's what I'm putting on the TV. That's what you're watching. If you want to watch TV, and it took me till years later that I actually started to enjoy NASCAR because I didn't hate it anymore because I didn't have to. Where they're starting to like Star Wars now more because they understand why I liked it, and it's not because of me that they like it. Because they used to not like it because of me. So it's just weird how people resonate and what they like. And I
That's
think
that's how brainwashing works.
But you bring up a great point, Michael, in that fact that at every generation, or doesn't matter if it's the 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, doesn't matter what age the person is, that entry point is key. It's like the ambassador in the chat where they bring up the he or she's favorite movie is the Return of the Jedi. So if that movie represents their entry point and makes them the fan, it doesn't matter. If it's The Mandalorian, like with my family, they love that show and it exposes them to more Star Wars. It's a fascinating transformation from, oh, I've heard about it, to I want to find out more. And then it's I try and prevent myself from flooding them with information and lore and background story and try and let them ask me questions in a natural format to have them sort of consume Star Wars at their own pace without me, like I said, like an avalanche, almost overwhelming them with the story. It's like, you know what? I really do appreciate where you're coming in from. And hey, if you got a question, I'm here to answer it. And, if I can't answer it, I have a bunch of friends who can. And just be happy that they're jumping into this massive story and lore and fandom, for that matter.
It's like the gateway drug.
Yeah, exactly. But it's true. It's 100% true. Whatever that gateway drug, it doesn't really matter. It's a book. It's a comic book. It's a animated series. It really doesn't matter, because then you crawl your way into the rest of it, and then you sort of see, wow, this is really deep. This is really fascinating, and then you keep on going from there.
Yeah, totally agree.
But that's where kind of goes into the brainwashing thing. It's too bad that Charlie's microphone broke. and he had to step out because he was asking us to talk about in the chat people that are looking down on this most recent movie because it didn't meet their expectations. And I think that pretty much goes to one group of people that, because there was so much discourse, so not really so much, but vocal people over The Last Jedi, because of the vocal people that were being so vocal about it. Another group was born to combat them and wanted to see all love in the last movie to combat what they feel is hate from the other group, and now they didn't get it, and they're being even more hateful than the first group.
Wasn't that
which is kind of ironic?
Wasn't that a line that Rose said? What you just said?
Yeah, that's what I said the other day. I don't know if it was in here. I typed it in here, or somebody in another chat, but it was like, it was, the complete. You're doing the complete opposite of what you stood for the last 2 years. So you stood for this. You didn't get your way, and now you're being bigger crybabies than the other.
Michael?
Pardon?
Are you speaking of the Raylos, Michael?
I am.
Some of them, not all of them.
Not all of them.
A
lot of them are normal. But there's the fanatics and the crazy ones out there that, as soon as they walked out of the movie, are putting spoilers and pictures on Twitter and Facebook to ruin it for everybody else, because they figure if the movie's ruined for everybody else, Disney's going to remake it. Well, it didn't work with The Last Jedi. What makes you think that they're going to redo this one? And because, you don't like something, then don't watch it. Don't pay attention to it. Just like with The Last Jedi. Yes, it sucks that, your Star Wars isn't what Star Wars is anymore, but maybe it was never like that, and you just had a misconception, and your wants were wrong. I just think it's so funny that
exactly it.
it's pretty much everything's come full circle right now on how everything's.
That's exactly it. They went into this saying that they called the story and they understood, because they held on so tightly to what they wanted, when they don't understand that's not ever how Star Wars stories are told. Not about what we want. They wrote this story in their head, and they held on to it so tightly, and when they set their butts down in the theater with them wants, they took in, that I call packed baggage, they took it with them, and when they didn't get that, the storyteller didn't let you down. You've done it to yourself. Take a mile-long step back and see what you did to yourself. Nobody else did that to you but you. That's not how Star Wars stories are told. And there's some of them that's in my playlist. It's giving me a hard time listening to, because they held on to these wants so much. And I seen it coming from a long way back.
I gotta run for 1 second or a couple seconds. I gotta run downstairs. So I might lose you in a minute. But that's why, it's kind of a blessing that for some reason, Google podcast or whatever keeps erasing my podcast list, and I went from 140 and then rebuilt it to 60, and then it erased it again and I built it back up to 60 again. And then I just basically said, fuck it. And I'm rebuilding it now. But instead of going through and looking for every podcast I listen to, now I'm remembering ones that I listened to, or, I haven't heard this one in a week or two. I'm like, gee, where are these guys? And then, adding them back up that way. So, I was listening to too many podcasts, especially if I'm going to be making content and, trying to keep up with comic, start getting back into the comic books and stuff like that. You can't, even on double speed, you can't listen to, 120 podcasts a week on double speed. That's still 60 hours. That's 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. That that's a little bit, and that's at an hour each. So that's it was a little bit too much. So we'll see. You know, I'll probably keep the list back, get the list back up there. Just everybody won't be in my rotation. I won't make sure I get everybody every day, and you know, we'll see what
I'll
happens.
pick you up, buddy. I'll pick you up. So, Ro and Charles,
Yes.
let me ask you your thoughts about what's going on with some of these kind of sideways Raylo friends of ours and what they're thinking about how the story was told. Because they're friends of ours, but what do you think about? Do they sound like they let themselves down?
I have Raylo friends. I didn't know that.
Oh.
You know, the
have
one thing
Rolo
that
friends.
yeah, Rolo fans. You know, the one thing that bothered me when I did see what Michael was talking about, the leaked footage from the theater where everybody was complaining and yelling and saying, "Oh my God, Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy died," whatever. It was quite disturbing. And I don't know where that comes from. I think even the most ardent members of the fandom menace don't even do that. I don't that like came out of left field.
They come at it from a different angle, not that way. I agree.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's kind of psychotic. When they,
much.
you know, when they realized that they weren't getting their way and Raylo was not a thing, and even back when Daisy Ridley had kind of questioned the whole Raylo concept in that interview, you know, people were getting up in arms, and I just don't get it. And I know Charlie just kind of mentioned the fact that a lot of those people really see Star Wars as kind of like a teen drama, kind of like a Twilight thing, and maybe, you know, maybe they should kind of switch from Star Wars to Twilight, because that's where I think it's coming from, and that's where it's staying. I don't know if I want, you know, too much of a Twilight romance thing in Star Wars. It is kind of a little odd because Star Wars is not really about that. It's got, you know, it's got elements.
It's about compassionate love, not romance. It's
Yeah.
about compassion. And if both can't see that, then they're, in my opinion, they're getting their own way. Charles, what do you think?
It's a little odd.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the fandom menace, as opposed to the Raylos, or even the Bendemptionists, who go in with, you know, with perhaps more thought behind an analysis of the stories and the story arcs. I mean, I've listened to so many podcasts that go in 15, 16, 20 layers within a story that I don't even have the intelligence to get to. And they look at things from a different angle, right? And then you see that, and they make these connections that are so intelligent and brilliant. And they think, wow, there's absolutely no way that what they're saying is not going to happen. So if they're going through their deep analysis and they come up with this, wow, this has got to happen, they express that, they make it part of what they're looking for. But then if they're disappointed and then they are now unhappy with the movie, it all comes back to the inability to distance yourself from the ownership of the story. You know, look, you can go into it, you can have all these different kinds of hopes and wants, but ultimately we're not the ones in charge of that story. It's you know, JJ or it's Rian Johnson, and it's not easy, but correct. And you know, hopefully, hey, I think that the Rise of Skywalker hit a lot of those marks. You know, okay, the kiss, maybe it was fleeting, maybe it was a short amount of time what they're looking for. That look in their eyes, the pure joy that Ben had in his eyes before he died, I think spoke volumes to what that story was going to be bookended with. So if those things aren't hit with as many different with as many different fandom sections that you want to hit with, it's hard. And like Rose said before, this was a monumental task to overcome, just to close the Skywalker saga, tie up all the loose ends, make everyone happy, but also then look at to what can the story become. It was an unenviable task, and I look at that from like a point of view is like, well, wow, that was 42 years worth of story. I'm pretty damn happy with the way it happened. It hit It hit the original trilogy people right in the feels. It hit the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy in the feels, and it hit the sequel trilogy in the feels. And I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm taking for what you're saying. There's that one particular show that you were saying that you didn't go and name, and I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm not going to go and name them either because everything that I do to share our friends, I'll just say she's up in Canada, and she's feeling pretty badly let down because she thinks she's really smart. She does a lot of smart talk, but then she goes, just like you said, she gets a little bit too deep and wide.
Correct.
I'm thinking, all right, if you're thinking that's what you see, then all right, I'm not going to disagree with you, but
no. As long as it doesn't cut your enjoyment off from what you're seeing on screen, but also then if you've got the massive amount of followers who are following you because of your intelligence and your in-depth research and the way you approach the story, it's doing the entire franchise a disservice by preventing the enjoyment of it. And I'm guilty of it all the time. I have my wants and needs. As hard as I work with the ability to walk into a movie without my preconceived notions, it doesn't always happen that way. But I'm also, okay, well, let's look at the story. Hey, it's this way. Did the Ben and Ray kiss work for me? Not really, but that's the way it ended. And that was a positive note. And that's the way it is. And if my kids love it, well, I'm on a different plane than they are. And if they like it, that just means that in 15 years from now, I'll be able to go with them to watch a movie, and hopefully they'll pay for the movie.
Exactly. When I took my two girls, finally got to see my middle girl go to see this for the first time, and she was kind of let down because Ben didn't get to live, and she felt kind of, I'm like, well, sweetie, understand. I get where you're coming from, but it's not my story to tell, and it's not your story to tell. You was told that story by someone that wanted to tell you that. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're told. I've never in my 53 years ever been able to say, if somebody's going to ask me, what do you want to see in a Star Wars story? For me, in my opinion, I don't know how to do that because I instantaneously know not my story to say. I don't know. Tell me a story. I don't know what I want to see. Tell me a story. Just for me.
Did you guys notice how really open-ended the ending was for Rise of Skywalker? Now,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Rural, you were talking about how your daughter was upset that Ben had died, and I was online with one of our followers talking on his live stream regarding.
You can call him out. Call him out.
I don't remember. Oh, Aaron
Clinton.
Yeah. So we were talking about how he had this theory about how the ending of Rise of Skywalker was created, and how there were many changes, but they left the ending very open ended because he feels that Disney doesn't even know what to do with Star Wars going forward.
100%.
And Ben died. Well, Ben disappeared, but you didn't see him as a Force ghost. And in Star Wars, when somebody dies, and he's connected to the Force, what happens when the body disappears? At the end, you see them, him or her, as a Force ghost. You saw Luke, you saw Leia. You didn't see Ben. You didn't see Ben Solo. So I found it a fascinating concept as far as the behind the scenes aspect of Disney not knowing what to do with Star Wars. I kind of tend to believe that that may be truer than a lot of people know. They did say that they were going to kind of put a halt on movies for a while, and I obviously think the only reason to do that is to kind of sort things out. I mean, they paid billions for the franchise. Of course, in a regular world, you want to get that much more bang for your buck. The only reason to stop doing that is to kind of sort things out. Is That's my opinion. I think I'm not sure if we're going to see these characters again. The actors have expressed no interest in coming back, but obviously, as we know, in Hollywood, money talks. But we'll see what happens. I think I think Star Wars is enjoying a resurgence of a little bit more completism with the popularity of The Mandalorian. I think Obi-Wan Kenobi, heading to Disney Plus is going to be another, home run. I think, folks are waiting for Clone Wars to return. So I think, and obviously with the folks that are behind those series, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, they've already cut their teeth in the Star Wars universe, and a lot of people already trust them. So there's no convincing needed. I think people are really excited for that. I'm not sure where Star Wars is going as far as films. Obviously you've had Kathleen Kennedy mention when she was here in Chicago that they are kind of maybe thinking about, the Old Republic stuff. But again, I think people are too invested in that material as well. And if they go back and try to tell those stories and it might not fit in somebody else's cookie cutter fashion, they're gonna see this process all over again. I have a feeling that Disney would behoove them to move forward, go into a realm in the Star Wars lineage that nobody has ever seen before. So there's no comparison. So people can't say, well, they didn't do this because of that. And unfortunately, I think the Skywalker saga and the old reign of Star Wars is gone. Obviously, now that George Lucas is no longer part of it. And I've seen those articles where people are saying, that Disney wants George Lucas back. That's fake. He's not coming back. He's not coming back.
You just put a whole bunch out there. So I'm going to go and rewind you back to the beginning.
All right. Roll it again.
I think Lucasfilm, not Disney, because I don't hear people saying Disney Marvel. So why is it got to be Disney Star Wars? I think Lucasfilm really does have an idea where they're going to go. They ain't shared it with us yet. And when it's time for them to do that, they'll do that. Yep. The time's not now. They know where they want to go with this, and they'll let us know what that's going to be. And what was your second point? Because you went for a little bit. And I had that last point that you were saying.
The research, the people behind the scenes, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, I mentioned.
Going back to the Old
Republic.
Disney not knowing what to do. They're just kind of leaving it and trying to figure out the movies.
We'll see if it ends up being Old Republic. I'm thinking, they're going to go somewhere. That's the other thing you were saying. You were saying about the next story is going to go somewhere else, something new. Exactly. This is a galaxy. How big is that? What all else is going on in the galaxy? Anywhere in the timeline?
All right. So here's the thing. At the blue carpet, Kathleen Kennedy. Well, and right before that, they said no more trilogies, and then they said maybe trilogies. And they said new stuff, maybe Knights of the Old Republic, which is going to be new stuff, but there's already legends about it, or things that have already been made or done about it. So, even though it's going to be like I told somebody the other day, The Mandalorian, from a certain point of view, is new stuff. You have Mandalorians, and you have the lore of Mandalore, which you can watch the series and not know anything and be completely fine, or you scream like a little girl when you see Moff Gideon cut himself out with the the black saber.
Yes.
Dark saber.
Darksaber, and,
All right,
and
the
no one knows what you're
ambassador-
talking about.
The
And then it's
ambassador
like,
has not seen the Mandalorian yet, so you just spoiled it for him.
oh, okay, well, sorry about that. Anyways,
Spoilers, by the way.
And maybe some more spoilers.
yeah,
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. You know, it's old stuff, but it's new. It's a period of this storyline that we haven't really gone into, other than, you know, some comic books back in the 80s and 90s, whatever. I find it fascinating. I love going back to that realm, that period in time after the Empire. Obviously, I'm familiar with a lot of the comic books that happened after Return of the Jedi. You know, Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc, all that stuff. But it's fascinating to see this unfold before our eyes in real life, other than having to read it or having to look at a comic book. I think Dave Filoni is a very good storyteller as far as creating these characters that everybody now knows and loves. I mean, when Ahsoka first came out, she was a whiny little girl. Everybody hated her, but who's at the top 5 Star Wars characters, you know,
Yep.
live action
Yep.
or not, you know, Ahsoka Tano. So I think whatever happens to Star Wars, I hope that that Filoni has a part in it. And I know Michelle Rejwan is kind of a JJ protege from Bad Robot. We'll see how she does with live action. But you know, I'm crossing my fingers too that perhaps maybe, you know, Disney or Lucasfilm or whoever's in charge, you know, steps back and kind of realizes, because they're never going to admit and say, oh, we screwed up here, so let's fix it. I'm just hoping that in the future they'll step back and say, all right, maybe we could do this going forward a little different than what we've done in the past.
so all right, here's the other thing too. So they decide that they're going to do one-offs, but leave it open so that you can do a sequel like Solo. Solo was, you know, a one-off, but set up for a sequel, and would have been a sequel if Disney or Lucasfilm or whatever hadn't, you know, just basically shit the bed on the marketing for it. You know, would have been up there, probably made twice as much money easily. So you make a nice little Republic movie, and then you decide you're going to make a movie that's 200 years in the future in the Star Wars world, or whatever, completely different, or taking place at the same time as, you know, one of these 9 movies that we have in the saga, just a completely different story. How are they going to differentiate? Because that's the thing, people didn't understand that, you know, where Solo was in the timeline, and Rogue One, how does it happen? Where's Princess Leia in Rogue One? How come there's no Anakin Skywalker? How come there's no Darth Vader? Yeah, you see him at the last 3 minutes, but, you know, it's like, you know, people are waiting to see characters they know because it's a Star Wars movie, and you have these standalone movies that, you know, did either really well or would have done really well if they were, you know, taken care of the same way. And, you know, so like, how are they going to do it? Like, and I'm not comparing to Marvel, but Marvel comes out with a different movie every 6 months, and people go watch the Marvel movies, and they know they're not connected, and then at the end they're all connected, or, you know, they have an Easter egg or two that connects them here and there. So what is Lucasfilm going to do? How are they going to do the marketing to tell people this isn't Star Wars that you know anymore? This is new Star Wars. This is taking 1,000 years before Baby Yoda. You know, this is 2,000 years before Baby Yoda. Or whatever, you know, figuring that Yoda's already died and Yoda was 1,000 when he died, but, you know, roughly, just to make the math easy, you know, so 2,000 years before Baby Yoda is this story. Just so you guys know, don't expect any characters or anything you already know about. Or this is 2,000 years after, you know, Baby Yoda, and takes place, you know, 3,000, you know, whatever. Which also brings me up to the new timelines that they have for Star Wars. But that's I guess the second point, or the third point.
You know, that's an interesting concept because since the beginning, since the release of Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, it's all been connected, whether you liked it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward from the stories that were built on that are now called legends, you know, there's still there was still some sort of cohesive tissue that connected them all. Same with Marvel. I mean, Marvel obviously it's a cinematic universe that one story is affects another story. I think it's kind of impossible to separate a film and tell the audience this is not part of something related to Star Wars. I think obviously us as audience members, not us particular, because we'll know.
Yes.
We know where Han Solo fell. We know where Rogue One takes place. But I think audiences in general should feel a sense of responsibility to find that out on their own and not have it spoon-fed to them, because that waters down the overall story. If you're going to dumb it down for one particular audience member or audience part, then you're watering down the entire story. That's my opinion. And I feel if they do that, that is a major disservice to the overall story of not only 9 films, but all the books and all the other ancillary properties, Rebels, Clone Wars, even some of the other stuff that have come out lately. I think it's a rich universe. It's a rich galaxy that they're playing in. And there's no possible way in the 40 plus years that this franchise has existed that you're going to be able to tell everyone exactly where this particular story fits, because there's just so much.
I agree with Ro. I think that if the goodwill that they've built with The Mandalorian or with the movies, if you take the story 1,000 years prior to the Skywalker saga, or you take the story 1,000 years after the Skywalker saga, none of us here tonight talking about it, or any of the ingrained fans, are going to have an idea of where that story is. It's going to be face value. Here are the new characters. Here's the way the Force was, or here's the way the Force is. And we're going to have to be able to accept that story as it's presented. And hopefully Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, the people who are in charge, are going to have enough of the faith in the showrunners to be able to entice the current fans, including us, all of us here tonight, but the young ones who are going to be watching the movie, and say, hey, look, here's a brand new set of characters. Here's the new Force. Here's the new story. We hope you like it, and throw it out there. And that's going to be a challenge, but you can't lock yourself into 75 years worth of characters and their development and expect to sustain an entire franchise like Star Wars. You have to break out of it at some point. And that break point may be difficult, but with The Mandalorian and with the different kinds of entry points like the Ambassador was talking about a while back, if you make a successful or an engaging story at that particular moment, you will draw in those new fans, and then you will be able to take them into the next generation of stories that none of us may have any familiarity with. Imagine that. None of us will know a Skywalker. None of us will know, oh, that ties back to this story. We're going to have 1,000 years worth of a gap between the current stories we know, and all the 4 of us here talking right now and everybody in the chat will have not one clue of how that relates to a current story. And now we're the neophytes. We're the new people in the story. Hey, let's jump into it and let's enjoy how it's going to be presented.
I mean, I just think, like, if you look at now, of course, this one is roughly on pace with the other 2. Depending on the longevity of it, is going to be how it ends up. More along the lines of The Last Skywalker than the first one in this era. But I mean, I just think, like, if they've all made since the Disney era has been $1 billion, except for Solo. But even Lucasfilm and Disney said, it's our fault. We didn't market it right. We didn't do anything, because you got to figure if there's these are just, I didn't get these numbers from anywhere, but 5 million hardcore Star Wars fans that are going to go see the movie a couple times, and it's $20 a ticket. You know, there's 150 million, $200 million. And then there's the other Star Wars fans that are going to go see it another time. There's another $200 million. And then you have that other $500, $600 million to reach that billion mark with the normies or regular people. But, you know, with Solo, there was no marketing for it. And when I went to the Good Morning America, I don't know if you guys remember, when I went to Good Morning America and I was there for the trailer, I was the only Star Wars fan there. There was not one other Star Wars fan there. There was another guy there wearing a Star Wars T-shirt, but he didn't even know Star Wars was going to be there. It was just, you know, a coincidence that he was wearing a Star Wars shirt and it was there. So I was just like, I couldn't believe that. And, you know, now, yeah, it was in January a couple of, you know, years ago, so it's cold out or whatever. But there wasn't one person, nobody there. The trailer was going to be there. Everyone knew the trailer was going to be there. I didn't have a problem getting a ticket. You know, I just figured someone would be, you know, but like no one there knew, you know, that it was the Star Wars movie was happening, or that the trailer was dropping, and just going on with people, or even recently, the whole time people not even knowing and saying Solo was such a great movie, I can't believe I never saw it, or whatever happened to Solo, or Disney Plus comes out, and even with Disney Plus on Twitter and Facebook, people being like, why didn't anybody tell me that Solo was such a fun movie? And it's like, you know, I didn't know it was till Disney Plus. I mean, so that Disney, they would have probably, that would have been, you know, $1 billion movie or close to it, like Rogue One, if there would have been marketing or people would have known about it. So Disney would have been $1 billion for all their movies if they wouldn't have messed that one movie up. You know, whether that people like the movies or not, you know, I think Solo's the most fun movie of all the Star Wars movies.
100% agree. Yep.
You know, just the whole thing all around. You know, it's more of a comedy and more of a, you know, there's not mysticism and everything, but it's like if I had to rank the movies on which one's the most fun, Solo would definitely be number one. You know, without going into, you know, what do you think? What's your favorite? What's the best or whatever? You know, so I just don't know how they're gonna go about, you know, not necessarily dumbing down, but if, you know, you can't even educate people that a non-saga movie is coming out for marketing wise, you know, how are you gonna, you know, their expectations are people that are just normal moviegoers that don't know anything about Star Wars except for the movies or what they read in People magazine or, you know, whatever it is. You know, how are they going to go to the movie and have any clue what's going on when they're expecting to see, you know, the original three, someone from the prequels, they're expecting to see, you know, they're expecting to see Star Wars. The title is Star Wars. This is not episode 10. This is 2,000 years before the movies even happened. And they sit down in the movies and they're expecting to see Rey, you know, because they still don't understand, you know, even though the title says this to me, and maybe it is dumbing down, that, you know, it's still not Star Wars because we only know Star Wars as one thing, but because we've only had one line of Star Wars, where, you know, in the comparison to Marvel, you've had, you know, hundreds of different characters that you can draw off of, so people know this and that, and that's where they need to go. I mean, so I just don't really know, you know, how they. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna get it across.
They have a good way of doing it. They have a system that's in place. I mean, you know, if you start a Star Wars movie and you have a crawl, there's your place. There's your place right there. 100 years after the death of Luke Skywalker, the Republic is blah 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 blah. So they have a system in place to be able to frame that's the story that you're about to see. I mean, the Solo movie did it. It wasn't a crawl, but you saw the text on screen.
Mm-hmm.
It told you exactly where it was.
And the planets. The
planets. Right. So I think if they're careful and creative and thoughtful about how to do it, I think it'll go well. I mean, even Clone Wars did it at the beginning. I mean, sometimes it was a little bit of kind of like, you know, show and tell, but I mean, the voiceover guy that did all the openings for the Clone Wars, you know, I mean, he set it all up. It tells you exactly what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't mean like dumb it down, but I just think that, to be able to, it's always a bad idea to cater to the lowest common denominator when it comes to storytelling. And I think that, the audience is built in. You put Star Wars on it, and for better or for worse, people are going to go see it because it's got a Star Wars logo on it. But you don't want it to be, subpar. You want it to be the best quality you can. So I feel that you shouldn't have to. And again, I'm using the term "dumb it down" loosely.
No, yeah.
Hey, Ro, do you think that dumb it down could refer to the casual fan, where they don't have that deep backstory of knowledge? Maybe it's the sort of surface level movie watching, like Michael was referring to, where they have the most accessible versions of the Star Wars story in their mind, and then, okay, this is what I know, this is how I understand it. How does that apply to the story I'm about to watch? If they can bridge that gap between what they have in their mind, what they're being told, then they can actually enjoy the story. I understand what you're saying too about both of you. What you're saying, well, how are you going to bridge that gap between the current format of the story and what the stories are about to come, where it's going to be 1,000 years in the past, 1,000 years in the future. The point we're at right now is a very interesting point. If you don't look at the Disney Plus stories on Disney Plus with Kenobi or with the Cassian Andor series, which are currently within that 70-year story of the Star Wars saga, the next movies were going to be critical in those moves, where at Disney, Lucasfilm are looking at it. It's like, wow, how much can we expect the casual fan, like you were saying, Michael, about that extra $500 million worth of profit? Are they going to buy into that story and say, you know what, I'll go take a look at it because it's Star Wars. I don't know the characters, but maybe it's good. That's going to be a critical junction for them to be able to use their current goodwill within the fan base that they've built, and go and grab those casual fans, bring them to the future, and actually go and spend that $15 to go and watch the movie. Because the four of us here and everyone in the chat guaranteed are going to go see that new movie because we're going to. It's Star Wars, but it's that casual fan they're going to have to go out and grab.
I think too, like you were saying, like we're just using the term and dumb it down as to not as crazy into fandom as we are. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Mandalorian is dumbed down.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch the Mandalorian with having no Star Wars knowledge and be fine. If you've seen any Star Wars movie before, you have a little bit more knowledge than you need, and you kind of know a little bit, maybe, but not that much, because to know about Mandalorians, you need to know about the Clone Wars and Rebels and things like that. But like if you've seen Return of the Jedi, or you've seen if you saw Star Wars, you saw the Cantina in Episode 4, whether you realize it or not. Some people may have seen Star Wars a number of years ago, however long it was ago when it first came out, or once or twice, or when it's on TBS or TNT. If they play the new ones now, so I don't even know if they play the old ones anymore. So it's like they saw them then, and then subconsciously they know this place, but they don't realize that they've seen it. And that's why there was the hubbub about the guy sitting in the same seat as Han Solo. And me and other people spending hours trying to figure out through scenes in the movie and try to match them up. Is it the same one, or is it over booth? Because I said it was a booth over because of the way the camera angle was. And then, I spent, I don't know, an hour or two like going through frame by frame on the movie and of the TV show and trying to match things up and do everything. And I was like, no, it's the exact same spot.
Nice.
I just wasted 2 hours of my life because I'm a nerd, to find out that everyone else is right and I'm wrong for whatever wishful thinking I had.
Not wasted.
They should have had a blaster mark behind his shoulder. That would have been awesome.
Oh, that would have been great.
Well, see that. I mean, that's the whole thing about fandom is people saying, "Thank God they didn't," because they haven't watched that in 2 years or 5 years or whatever.
Right.
And it's like,
God.
and it's like, well, I mean, It's a burn mod. I don't know. I've never shot anything with a laser before, but I'm gonna guess it's harder to get off than burning something.
Have you gone? Have you gone to the local Taco Bell's bathroom? That hasn't been cleaned in years.
There's a lot of laser marks in there. Oh man.
I mean, I just
Is that
I think
also called carbon scoring?
carbon scoring. Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Hey, let's say a goodbye to Charlie Skywalker. Charlie, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes,
Charlie.
May the force
Charlie.
be with you, buddy.
All right.
Can't wait to hear the show.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about your show, but I guess we're going to have to wait till next week about that one.
We'll get him on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast and see
Nice.
if we get a little preview.
Yeah,
Nice.
Charlie.
Yes, do that.
For those of you that are in here and not actively participating or don't know, Charlie Skywalker has a new podcast that is going to be coming out shortly. I forget the name of it.
Star Wars Through the Ages.
Star Wars Through the
Nice.
Ages.
Very nice.
So keep an eye out for that. Or if you follow, I'm sure any of us that are on here in the talking chat, you'll be able to see as we retweet and talk with him about his new show. So I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's gonna have a special first guest. Can't wait to see who that is.
Ooh, you got a preview? Of course you do.
Awesome.
I wonder who. Clear
Me
that
too.
throat.
I wonder who too.
It's me. I'm going to be the first guest. Yeah. Just like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to go back to bed.
So where are we going from here? Let's get ready.
Oh, I did have something I wanted to. I usually, well, you guys know, Ro. I usually this is kind of, it's usually like a free for all. There's no notes or whatever. I keep in my mind what I want to talk about. That's why sometimes it takes a couple shows to go because I mean it really is. And people that have like been on here watching, like, it is if you went to go meet your friends at a bar and just talk about
Sure.
Star Wars and people coming in and out or
Mhm.
whatever. And let's see, my notes for today were Raylo bad. Take that as you will. Oh, the Resistance. So, is anyone keeping up with the Resistance?
Right here.
No,
I haven't.
I know Anthony is.
no,
Okay.
not here. No, unfortunately, no.
This season, it's what we talked about earlier with, we as age-wise adults, maybe not mentality-wise, put expectations on Star Wars and figuring it out. And, like I was saying earlier, if I was making it, I would have done the crawl this way and put this here and put that there or whatever, well, I didn't make it. So I really don't have a say in it except for to say I liked it or didn't like it. But the 6-year-old or the 12-year-old or the 18-year-old, whoever it's, actually geared towards, even though we can all still enjoy it,
Mhm.
like the Resistance, it's kind of kidsy of a show, but it's still enjoyable if you want to get some Star Wars out of it and let your expectations go on what it should be, because it's more of a kid show than Clone Wars ever was.
It's funny if you strip away like a lot of the kids stuff, and obviously it's that audience. There's a lot of good Star Wars stuff in there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
kind of like what my point was. And some people complain that they're filler episodes or whatever, and it's like, it's a kid show, let it be entertaining. It's well, they didn't do anything except everyone's wanted more racing and Resistance. Where's the racing? We want to see more racing. We get an episode that's just racing. Well, it's just filler. They didn't do anything for the point. Well, like, what the fuck do you want, dude?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, I mean, come on.
Can't please everybody.
And then you have a 2-parter last week and this week, with bounty hunters and the First Order and things of that nature, and Kaz being Kaz, but always pulling out in the end, which is a good thing because that's his character. He's a dopey guy that ends up winning in the end because for whatever reason it's Star Wars. He's kind of like
He's little bits and parts of me.
he's kind of like he's a goofy Han. He's a goofy Han Solo. It doesn't matter what it is. He pulls it out in the end, and everything works out for him.
Yep.
But these last 2 episodes were great. They introduced some stuff. You had some. I'd like to say it's driving the story of the plot, but with them not being in the movie, I don't know how it's gonna. Maybe it's gonna end up. The last episode is gonna show them. Lando giving the call to them joining. Maybe that's the last episode.
Somebody in the chat is asking where they can see the Resistance. I think it's the Disney Channel, but which one is it?
XD.
Disney XD. That's right. You can download the app, and if you have a like a DirecTV or a cable subscriber, you can log in that way and then play it. So it's Disney XD.
And season 1 is available on Disney Plus, of course.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's just like just going back to Star Wars fans are some of the greatest fans in the world, and some of those ones that are the greatest fans in the world are also the biggest jerks because like I was just saying, we want more racing, then you get racing, and it didn't do anything for the story.
Right, and you look at it too, like where the Rebels show and the Clone Wars show had their share of quote unquote filler episodes as well. So as well as we look at those shows as an entirety that fit into the canon and add richness to the lore of Star Wars, they had some quote unquote boring stories as well. It's how does the entire series itself fill out the Star Wars saga. So yeah, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
But it's like that was just my thing. Like I've enjoyed Resistance, and maybe that's what do you got there?
Kylo Custom is saying not on Disney Plus yet. I do see it on Disney Plus. Season 1 Resistance.
Season 1, yeah. Season 1 is there, not season 2, just season 1.
Yeah.
I started watching season 1.
But I forgot what I was saying now.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm trying to text you. I'm having one of my breakers kicked last night. Didn't kick at whatever, it burnt out or whatever. So I'm waiting for my landlord to send somebody to fix it. Someone's been coming to fix it all day, and they still haven't shown up yet. And which means, so I texted him. I was like, listen, this is going to be 2 days without it because it happened when I got home from work sometime yesterday. And so he's texting back. Well, I didn't know about it till this morning. Well, it's not my fault that you didn't get the message till this morning, but I texted him and called him at 12 o'clock last night, but it was 12 o'clock last night. He was sleeping, but it's going to be now tomorrow by the time it gets fixed. If the guy doesn't come out here in the middle of the night to fix it, and
holy cow!
So I have.
That reminds me of Miss Shannon Moran from Postcards from Galaxy's Edge. She just spent 2 weeks coming over here from England, where she lives, to go to Galaxy's Edge. And she put up in that Twitterverse, before she left her home in England, in Brighton, England, that there was a gas leak in her apartment building. And she come over here to spend 2 weeks in Galaxy's Edge and had a great lot of fun. And made some videos to share with us and some of the folks in Patreon like me. And she got back home to England, and there was that still same gas leak. So what you're putting up with your breaker, yeah. she's following your footsteps, kind of.
I have my bedroom, and if I leave the breaker on, I have my refrigerator, but nothing else in the house works. If I turn the breaker off, I have my bedroom. That's it. 'Cause for whatever the way that it's wired, my bedroom's on one breaker, the rest of the house is on another breaker. So it's like there's a short somewhere, and I said you need to come fix it. I don't want there to be a fire. And I just texted him again, and I was like, if I turn the breaker off all the way, I don't have a refrigerator. What am I going to do with my food and stuff? But yes, that's just what I was texting that for. So, all right. Let's see what was the other thing. Oh yeah. So I might need. So I have people in from Ireland right now that are staying here. So
Woo!
well, yeah. The living room has no electricity. The bedroom has no electricity. The kitchen has no electricity. The bathroom has no electricity. But my bedroom does. Thank God it's big and people can hang out in here. But if people come hang out in here, it's either going to get really dark, the recording, because I'm going to have to go in the other room, or I'm going to have to cut it short. Or I shouldn't say cut it short. Cut it to the normal time it should be, and not go with everybody drinking and talking for another hour after we should stop.
Let's see that wonderful family behind you, man. What are you keeping them behind the curtain?
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
The motherland. Come on now.
They're not here yet. They're out at
drinking.
the best. No, they're at. Well, yeah, they are. They are, but they're at the best place for dumplings in New York City. It's this place in Chinatown. You got to go down an alley. It's kind of scary. You don't think you want to walk down there and whatever. And it's like you walk in the place. It seats like 100, 200 people. It's just kind of like not the best kept up place, but it's the best food in the world. And sometimes you go there and there's a 2 or 3 hour wait, and it's just like that's how good it is. But yeah, they're there now, and they told me they brought me home presents. So
Nice.
What's it called?
Something tea room.
We love New York. We go to New York very often, and we've been there quite a few times. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I need.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I gotta go for a second.
I loves me some dumplings for sure.
Oh yes.
Hello.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, Joseph.
Oh, looks like he got his landlord to come over. So
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna have to jump in a couple minutes, but my wife and I were in the middle of watching Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh, great movie. Great
Yeah,
movie.
I'm not getting into it. I'm a Tarantino fan. I love watching the actors and the performances. But for me, so far the story is falling short. It's just a collection of Tarantino embellishments, in my opinion. But we're gonna finish that up. Have some snacks and finish off the rest of this red wine.
Nice.
Well, you guys, I'm gonna head out. Please tell Michael thank you very much for including me.
Is he
Let's see if he's coming. Oh, he's having problems.
He's coming back.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well, Ro, I was glad to get to chat with you here.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a pleasure to
perspective is always
talk.
awesome.
It's always fun talking Star Wars with some Star Wars geeks, and we like to do that. We like to do that often.
Friends
Yeah.
is found here. We're all friends.
Correct.
Sure. That is definitely the case.
And the Scarab
So,
podcast.
I look forward to your show coming up on my playlist, buddy.
Excellent.
Sure.
Yeah, we just did the best of 2019. We kind of put together a couple of clips from way back from April all the way on, with a couple of surprises. So we're just having fun.
I loves me some surprises. I loves me some surprises.
Yeah, it was a good episode. That I listened to. I kind of lost you for a while with switching back because that's what happened when I was talking about losing. I lost on Beam Pod. I lost everything.
Oh yeah.
Probably I don't know 6 months ago or whatever. And then I rebuilt it on Google, and then I had Google for a number of months, and then Google the last couple of weeks has just been erasing everything on me. So, but I got you guys back in my rotation now. So
Excellent. For a second, I was trying to figure out like who's talking.
Oh no, that was me.
All right, Michael, Anthony, Charles, I'm gonna have to jump. Thank you guys
Yes,
for
sir.
including me. And anytime you guys do this again, hit me up. Always happy to talk Star Wars. I got
Awesome.
I got a TIE fighter waiting for me, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's
Well,
May the
awesome.
force be with, friend.
That's awesome. That is so good.
All right, so I'm running
Oh,
back
yeah.
downstairs. I'm running back downstairs to the basement now. So he told me the original guy that was supposed to come was supposed to be at 5:30. He doesn't know where he is. But there's going to be someone here at first thing in the morning, hopefully by 10. How are those first thing in
Fantastic.
the morning by 10? So at least it will be fixed in the morning. But
On New
it's not-
Year's Eve too.
yeah, it's not a breaker problem. It's an electric problem because it's been blowing my light bulbs in my one light every time I turn the light off and then turn it back on. It blows the lights, and I've been telling him about it for months, and he hasn't done anything about it. And now it's way worse. Changing the breaker is not going to help. It's an electrical problem. So I either gotta turn the breaker off and lose all my food in my refrigerator and freezer, or leave the breaker on and hope there's not a fire. So what do you do?
And it looks like the ambassadors is heading out too as well. So thank you, the ambassador, for joining us in the chat tonight for sure.
Yeah, though he and me, we may disagree in the chat room.
Hmm.
I still call him a friend.
Ah,
He's a friend to me.
very nice.
Yes.
Are they? Is the ambassador on Twitter?
Oh, I didn't go and ask him that because I'm hoping he is, and I'm hoping he would go and give both you, Charles, and myself a follow.
Absolutely, and reciprocated too, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, did your girls like the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah. When it come to opening day Friday,
Mm-hmm.
on the 20th, yeah, my youngest girl, I thought I was going to go see it all by myself, but she went and said, "Dad, I'll go watch it with you." So
Nice.
I went and picked her up, and yeah, we got to go see it together.
Nice.
And we laughed together, and we shed some tears together.
Oh God, yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and we
That's
laughed some more
fantastic.
together. Yeah. This is, in my opinion, I think this is the way to end the story.
Totally agree. 100% agree. There's no other way I would, as a fan since '77. There's no other way I would have ended it. I was the culmination of those 3 trilogies. There was no better way for me to end it, and I can't wait to see it again for the 3rd time. It was such a great, like, sort of love letter to everyone. It was fantastic.
Absolutely was,
Mm-hmm.
in every way.
Yeah.
Well, after this stream ends, I already have this story, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it after the stream ends again for my 6th time.
Nice.
I watched it twice in theaters and 4 times at home.
Nice. Expect a message
And
from me.
I'm looking so forward to what all else. This story was so packed up with so many things that we
Yes.
can go and take from it.
Yep.
And all of it's all parts of it are things that we're so familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the Mandalorians do, and
Yep.
things that we're familiar with, but it's brand new. And that's what this story goes and does, is something. Michael, what are you doing?
He's working out.
I was putting something in the
No.
refrigerator.
Okay. All righty.
My dessert cost me more than my dinner today.
Well, maybe it's Guinness for your Irish friends.
So what's your dessert? Because I want to go and know now. What are you having? What are you having for dessert?
It is. There's this new bakery that opened right like feet away from my house, like when you walk down the street. And everything they have there is amazing. Like I haven't had one thing where I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll get that again or whatever. I've tried pretty much everything they have. But they have this cake, which is
there's that little one right there.
Have you ever heard of a Tres Leche cake? It's a 3 milk cake or whatever.
Yep.
It's like that, but it's not wet, and it has like a caramel or butterscotch frosting on it. So it's not like a regular one. It's like their version of one, and it is amazing. It's out of this world.
Yeah.
So, usually like I'll get a slice, and the slice will last me a day or two. Because it's so
it's so sweet.
It doesn't I'll eat a thing of Oreos in a day. It doesn't matter, so like that's not a problem. Well, you take 3 or 4, and then you go back and grab another 3 or 4, and then you're walking by the kitchen again, you grab another 1 or 2, and the next thing the next day, you have a couple more and a couple more, and like a 24-hour period, the whole thing's gone. I mean, it's only 1 an hour, but still. But I was like, oh, they had these little mini cakes that I don't know. It probably ends up being like 6 or 8 pieces, instead of like a whole like 12-inch cake. And I was like, just give me the cake. So I brought it home and I had a couple. I didn't eat it yet.
No, I'm just thinking this is like an extension of the Conversations with Michael Condon. That's what I'm thinking.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So it was just, so I was like, I was like, give me the cake. And I got 4 slices of pizza. Not slice, I got the squares because they're the big thick crust ones or whatever. And I was like, I'll go with those today. I got 2 pepperoni, and then I got like a bruschetta one, and then they have a spinach artichoke one. And the spinach artichoke one is my favorite out of all of them. The bruschetta one, whoever made the bruschetta one today, I don't like their ratios that they used for stuff, so it's a little different than normal. I wasn't too happy with it.
So what would you have more of on the bruschetta? You said you didn't like the ratio. So what would you rather have had more of?
Whatever seasonings they put in there, like not the tomato and the onion was fine ratio wise, but whatever they put in there, like seasoning wise, there was something off seasoning wise that made it just didn't taste right. But yeah, so I had a slice of the cheese and pepperoni, and then I had or a piece of the cheese and pepperoni, and then I had half of the bruschetta one, and then a piece of the other one. So 2.5 pieces. I'm good. It's sitting there. Later on, I'll have some, or they're bringing me back dumplings, and I think I was gonna tell Charles the name of this place. Maybe I'll just wait till the next time he said he's in New York City a lot. I haven't known him to be in New York City since I've known him. Maybe I'll just not tell him and make him meet me there, and then we can have dumplings together.
Yes. Now, I will tell you that one of our favorite spots is Wool Hop on in Chinatown. Are you familiar with it? Wool Hop?
I don't know.
It's on Mott Street.
I think that's it. It's like down an alley, and it curves over, and there's a bar. Yeah, that's it. I think
and
that's
you walk
it.
down, you think you're walking into a garage, and you walk down, there's, oh my God, that's fantastic. We walked down there on a recommendation from people who used to live there, and don't worry, don't be afraid when you walk down, it's a little bit scary, but it's worth the food.
I don't think that is it. I'm trying to find it in my
Take your time.
Oh, you guys keep talking because I don't know. I'm
Okay.
just concentrating on this.
We've been we go
No.
to New York every 5 years with the kids for their 5-year birthdays. So we go there. We were there in December, and we went through all of the anime stores. We went through all of the Star Wars stores. It was fantastic. So we love New York. New York is a one of our
Wow.
favorite spots. Yeah.
Yeah, it's living here. It's kind of a mix of, you can always find something to do. You can do whatever you want. But it's just there's always so much going on too, and it's expensive. Yeah, you make more money than you would other places, but is it worth it? You got to weigh that out with each job, and then housing. Like the place I'm at right now. When I moved in here 6 years ago, I would never be able to afford it now. If I just went to go move in. It's just it's a lot easier to raise the rent percentage wise when someone's renting a new place than it is if someone's been there for 5 or 6 years. And my landlord, except for like this problem that I'm having right now, I mean, he'll never watch this, but he's a really good guy and he takes care of things. It just sometimes takes an extra day. But it's not as like, but he also doesn't raise the rent all the time like a lot of other places do. The rent's only been raised a fraction of what it could have been raised if I had a different landlord. So it's kind of like a little give and take. Yeah, I'd like to have electricity, but I could be paying an extra $5,000 a year to live here. Or whatever. Just from but yeah, whatever. So I mean, yeah, and it's just things are usually taken care of. But he got the message this morning, even though I gave it to him last night. Well, he didn't wake up in the middle of the night and check his phone or whatever. So that's understandable. And then the guy was, he said the guy was supposed to come today and never showed up. So now he can't get anybody out here. He talked to somebody, can't get anybody out here till tomorrow morning. So somebody's coming tomorrow at between 10 and 11. So.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
I can't never just go and imagine because the town I live in is just nearly 5,000, and where Michael lives is kind of more nearly like 10 million, including all of New York City. Yeah, a city to me, and being where Michael lives, that would just boggle my mind. And Charles, you've been there.
Yes.
I never been to New York. I never been to New York City. The largest city closest to me is Pittsburgh, and that's what 300,000 maybe, and that's a small city. Yeah.
Well, that's like so. Tomorrow I get out of work. I'm scheduled till 9, which means if I get out of work, depending if I get out of work earlier, who knows? I'm planning on being home by 10, and then walk the dog, get everything ready and situated. That was what I was going to say. I got a couple things I was going to, ask what people want or what people are into, because I really don't know or care. Doesn't really make a difference to me. So I'm gonna get home, and I can start streaming or doing whatever about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, somewhere between there. And it's like if I go home, walk the dog, I can't go to my girlfriend's restaurant on 47th Street because it's too close to Times Square. I mean, it is Times Square. I won't be able to get into her restaurant unless I get, you have to get a pass and laminated badge and everything that says, I have reservations at this place.
Wow.
And they go through, and then they still don't have to let you through. I could still have to walk around, and it could take you an hour to walk around because you have to go down 2 streets and cross the street and go up and over around like a maze to come back. And it's like, I have to go 10 feet that way. Too bad. I got to spend an hour going around and everything. Which is a funny story because when I was working on 51st Street or whatever, the restaurant I was working at, it's been there for years. They didn't pay off anybody, but they made contributions, to the like $20,000 contribution to the PBA, Police Benevolent Association. The health department, when they got their food from there, their party trays, got the same prices that they got in the early 90s. But they weren't bribes or anything, and they weren't discounts. They just never changed the prices.
Right.
For them.
Right.
For them.
Right.
So like I wouldn't say there were any cops on the take or anything, because I would never admit to knowing anything like that. But I had a card from a detective. Like basically, it's like one of the get out of jail free cards, but like a real one, not just like somebody's card. It's laminated and like has like everything on there you need. So I'm in Times Square on 51st Street. This is like 6 years ago. I have to make it. It's 11 o'clock. I have to make it to 28th Street in an hour so I can kiss my girlfriend for New Year's.
On New Year's. Wow.
On New Year's. So trying to do that, maybe it was 10:30, so maybe I had an hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that as crazy as that, but even like if I was to take the train there, on a regular day, it would be kind of iffy, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made it there on time because I had my card, and I just walked through all the police barricades, and I was like, "Here you go. Okay, fine. Here you go. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine."
It's
Like
New Year's. That's crazy.
New Year's
Wow.
with this card, like through the middle of Times Square. There's Carson Daly or whoever the hell was doing the shit,
Wow.
on that day, whenever. Like they're right there, and I just walked straight through everybody. One cop gave me a problem, and she's like, "That's not supposed to be used for this." And I said, "Can you get your boss?" I said, "Really? Can you get your boss, please?" Like, I'm not trying to be like some hard shot or like big wig or head honcho or anything, but it was just the fact that, like I had something, I needed this card to do something for me. I never used it any other time. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But yeah, I made it from 51st to 28th, in less than an hour, walking, which that's fast walking, 30 blocks, to get through all the barricades. It was just funny. I never got to use. Well, luckily I never had to use the card. But
Wow, Michael, you live in a place that I would instantaneously, if I was there, in Charlotte, I know you already been, but if for this small rural Western Pennsylvania farm boy would be up there in that big city, yeah, I would instantaneously think I would be 6 feet buried deep pretty quick. That's not a place for me.
Well, they'd say you coming, and they'd make you as a mark, but you'd probably turn out being like that movie Next to Kin when they all come up there for.
Pretty much.
Real.
Pretty much.
And then really, we should probably start wrapping this up.
Yes.
Somewhat. The Kenobi film. Has anyone seen that? The new fan flick?
No, you posted it today. I saw that. No, I haven't seen that yet. No.
I posted it. Watch it. It's really good. It's
Okay.
about.
All right.
I'm not gonna tell you what it's about. It's obviously about a young Kenobi on Tatooine, but it's pretty good. It's not like one of the crazy far out there stories.
No, this is the one that James Arnold Taylor's in. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, wow.
He plays
I
an
don't know
Imperial
about-
officer.
Ooh, are you serious? Wow.
Yes, sir. I'm very serious.
Well,
You
I'm
know
gonna
who
watch
I
that.
speak of? James Arnold Taylor
Yeah.
that did Obi-Wan's voice for
Oh, yeah.
Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
He's our
plays
best
an
friend.
Imperial officer.
Oh, really? Okay, because
Yeah,
I
you
heard.
gotta-
All right, the Scruffy boys were talking about this, and they said how his voice sounded just like Obi-Wan. So if that is true, that would make a lot of sense, and that would give Anthony something to after he listens to the Scruffy boys tomorrow, the Scruffy podcast tomorrow. He can gives him something to write in about and talk to them about. Let them know that it was him that did it. If that's who. Oh,
Yeah,
no, they're talking
them-
about Obi-Wan. No, I'm thinking Obi-Wan. He was an Imperial officer. The guy that did the Obi-Wan voice is right on. So, okay, I'm completely wrong about what I just said. So, erase that
No,
30 seconds out of your
no,
brain.
no.
But
No,
yeah,
no.
but they were talking about how well his voice was. But
No, you're on point. And I got them scruffy boys, them scruffy looking podcasters saved in my playlist for tomorrow morning. No, so I can't wait to go and see just what they're going to go and talk about. But
I do have.
I heard on some shows today that no, that was James Arnold Taylor
Wow.
did a voice for an Imperial officer in that fan film. I heard that a week back. So, but I'm gonna go looking for that in my playlist tomorrow. So keep an eye on that Twitterverse for what I post up.
I will for sure.
See, I just remembered another one that I
Everybody.
don't have on my list, and it's completely not.
You gotta go and get yourself a new podcast catcher, Michael. Put Google down.
I went back
Stitcher
to
or something else.
I went back to Beanpot or Podbean or whatever it was.
There you go.
I use Overcast.
There you go.
I use Overcast.
But it's
that
like
one.
I just remembered. I don't know why. I was like, tomorrow's Tuesday, Force Toast, because you were saying tomorrow. I was like, Force Toast. I don't think I have them on my list, and I didn't. So I just put them on there. So I went from. I'm at what I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm at 20. Which for most people would be a lot, but for me that's like one day of listening.
And for Anthony is 1 hour.
Yeah.
Pretty much me too. Yeah. Even
Well,
today.
I taught Anthony some tricks on how to listen to more.
Yeah.
Oh, I know those tricks for sure.
Here's my playlist for today. This stream counts on this playlist. Yeah. I go write them down every day on a post-it note from when I leave home and who goes to work with me, who I'm listening to. Yeah, right now I've got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and this year's show is 20 just for my Monday playlist that I got.
Yeah.
And some of them has times 2, and some of them has times 1.5 speed, but no, this is my friends right here. Yous are all with me through my day, every day, Monday to Sunday, and every next week after.
And we appreciate it.
Well, I mean, that's what I was at 140 a week.
Wow.
There's a couple of on them. There was a couple on there.
I'll never catch up to 140.
There was a couple that well, that's how many were on my list. There was a couple that stopped doing them, but I left them on there just in case they ever come back. Well, now they're gone for good. Or like Snoke and Oates. There are a couple of guys that I met. They didn't.
That's a great name. That's
they
a
were
fantastic name.
They were doing them. They were doing them, and they just stopped the one day and stopped doing them, and I don't know why. And then I think Danny at Celebration. I hadn't talked to him in months or whatever, and they did one after Celebration, and then they did one about 2 months ago. And they did 1 or 2, and then they haven't done another one. So they're kind of whatever's going on. But I left them. I'm glad I left them on there because. Or when I put new ones on there, I put them back on there because I would have never heard them come back again. So or like you got 7 by 7s, 7 minutes long or 10 minutes long, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You got like Force Toast does it every 2 weeks. The Geek Pod hasn't done theirs in months. So that was there was 140 on the list, but it was probably more like 110, 120. But it was, you figure 6 or 8 hours a day, you can knock, New York City living, you can knock those out easily with just traveling and doing whatever or work. And, but I've been trying to do a little bit more. That's why I'm rebuilding my list and no offense to people that aren't back on my list yet. I just haven't realized you're not on my list. You know, like Force Toast, you know, like they do theirs every 2 weeks. And I just, because Anthony said Tuesday or tomorrow, I was like, oh, tomorrow's Tuesday. Who am I going to listen to tomorrow? And I was like thinking in my head, who do I hear on Tuesdays? And I was like, oh, wait a second. I don't think I have them on there. So I, you know, I just put them on there. So eventually it will get back up. You know, we'll see how high it gets back up. You know, there's some that I think I'm purposely going to eliminate that I left on there just because they were on there. And I listened to them just because they were there. But, you know, I could listen to a book much easier or get more out of it probably. But
Yeah, Michael, you post up after you listen to.
yeah,
Am I right?
yeah.
Okay. I post up before I give a listen to. In the morning when I get to work. And when I get home, I post up who I've already listened to. And I want to go give a little bit of shout out in live chat because Chris King is still here with us, and so is Kylo Custom Squad and Mr. Ez and Nick Adams.
Yeah. They're in here for the long haul today.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, Chris King, he's still asking if I'm doing Stitcher. No, my iTunes, it's called Apple Podcast, but I still call it iTunes because that's what it's been called for 20 years.
Yes.
No, my iTunes playlist got itself all sorted out. So, no, even tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to post up who's start my morning with me. And it's not for myself. It's for, if I'm listening to, that's my recommendation for friends to listen to. That I know, Charles, you took some from my playlist.
Oh, I've taken 20, at least 20 from your playlist. 100%.
And we'll be ready, buddy, because there's some more brand new shows coming up. And
Yeah, I saw
really
you
good.
tweeted yesterday or 2 days ago where you asked for some new shows. Yeah, I'm 100% watching those for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's my place that there's some pretty solid shows that don't need to have more listeners. It's about the new shows that I think
Yes.
that
Yep.
yeah, we need to pick them up and bring them up to the ones that's already recognized too. And I'm hoping that they can go and also do crossovers with each other because that's what brings us all closer together.
And it's huge for marketing for each show. That's where the gold for each show is the exposure from one show to another through a common story of Star Wars, where they are able to share their fandom, but also to their followers, and that's massive. It's massive, absolutely. It's like when you're talking, Michael, when you're talking about Star Wars 7x7. When you think about the other shows like the Jump to Lightspeed, which is another show that I found through Anthony's list.
Show.
Good show. It's short. It's digestible, but it's a great show, and it's very much in the vein of Star Wars 7x7. So Jump to Lightspeed. Take a look for it.
And it's inclusive. It includes all of us. Yes. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So
it's not about me, it's about we.
Yes.
Two things real quick. The name of the place, the dumpling place, is Namwa Tea Parlor.
Oh, let me write that down.
It's on Doyers Street.
Which street? Which one?
Doyers. Doyers.
Doyers Street.
But it's right. it's right around.
Apologies, I'm just laughing at the live chat. Chris King says my iTunes is still controlled by my wife. My apologies, Chris.
And then also, I need to say, This episode of the TooMedToo live chat is brought to you by the patrons Mr. Rez. And I said
Mr. Rez.
patrons. I said patrons because there's a new one today. And it is Chris from Kentucky,
Awesome.
who we all know as a different name.
Which is?
Chris from Kentucky. I'm
What's-
gonna
what's
be
the-
next because I just got a little bit of a raise in my paycheck, so we'll see where I
Congratulations.
end up. Thank you. We'll
So,
see
sir?
where I end up come end of January because my next Patreon is going to be found right here.
Nice.
All right. Excellent. Oh, yeah. So both Patreons are in this chat right now.
Chris King.
Um,
Very nice. And Mr. Rez, two fantastic people.
And it's like I don't have anything set up. Like buy it, give me $10. Like some of the ones that I donate to, it's give me $10 and I'll give you a T-shirt or whatever. Once a year or whatever, because you figure, but I don't have anything set up like that yet. It's just you want to give me money so I can buy a new camera or buy a new microphone or just like for me it was one of the things when I bought my computer is adding more RAM. It's going to cost me $250, $300 to add the RAM for my computer. What I need, every little bit helps. That way I can make more videos, do more rendering, and even my stupid advent calendar videos.
Fantastic.
They were only.
No.
They were only.
I love
Fantastic.
those.
Well, no, but
Fantastic.
I love those.
they were only 5 minutes
Who
long.
cares? I
But-
love them. Watch them
Don't
all.
it would
matter
take-
how long.
But because of my memory on my computer, it would take 2 or 3 minutes to render. And then I'd have to render it again to go up. And then I'd have to download it. Then I'd have to render it again to YouTube. So that 5-minute video would take a half hour. So I could even record it and just go boom and be done with it. I'd have to, by the time so that 5-minute video, my time, like what it would take me to get my computer set up and do it and everything, it would take me, a half hour, 45 minutes to make that 5-minute video. Not necessarily all the time spending doing that, but I couldn't just do a video and go. Like I would have to do a video, and if I did a video and go, I wouldn't post it till the next day or post it later or whatever. But every dollar counts, whatever and
It does.
hopefully I
I'll-
have hopefully I
I'll
have
go
my
and
hopefully I
I'll
have
go
my
and say-
1,000 viewers by I have my
You're
1,000
halfway
viewers.
there right
Yes.
now, buddy.
I'm
You're
halfway
there right now.
Halfway there. Congratulations. 500. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So hopefully-
That's amazing.
Thank you. So hopefully I have my 1,000 so I can do that, and then I got to buy a camera, and a camera's going to cost me for the one I want $600. For just what I need is still $200. That's what I need. Not even, I can get a baseline one for, on sale for $120, whatever. But it's like, it's not. It's if I could get what I needed for $120, I'd get the $120.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So yeah, that's that. But just every dollar helps, and maybe after I get a little bit more stuff going on, and get a couple Patreons, and after a couple months, a little bit of money stocked away because I'm not going to use it to buy Funko Pops. I'm not going to use it to buy
For
merch to
next year's
open,
Advent.
or- yeah, I don't know if there's going to be next year's Advent. That was all stuff that I had laying around.
Correct. Existing. From 2 years,
yeah.
what? 2 years
Yeah.
ago?
Some of it was in the corner for a while because I can't open up the books and have nowhere to put them. I didn't get in. If I would have had the books laying around, I would have got in trouble. But if I have books in the boxes in the closet, it's just like, what are you doing? So
No, you're doing an Advent next year, so we'll be along for that. No.
all right.
My
So let's see.
God.
We're gonna open up the first thing right now.
Nice.
So I'm gonna
Here
do,
we go. What do you open now?
I'm gonna do that for you. So we have a box. And I'm pretty sure I'm
That's a
pretty sure what
big
this one is.
box.
I'm pretty sure what this one is because
I bet you are.
I got it a couple weeks ago. But
See if
Let me
that
know.
Funko Pops in it.
it does. Let me know if
It
this
does.
Let me know if this looks familiar to you.
Oh, Funko.
Let's see. Bubble wrap. Can't
You see what's
'cause of
on there?
bubble wrap. No,
You see what's on
bubble
there?
wrap.
Is
Take
that
the-
a
take the
is that
bubble wrap
the
off?
that's the Kylo Ren's interceptor?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh,
There's
good
two of
on
them.
you, Charles. You beat me to
Wow.
it.
There's two of them.
Very
So
nice.
hang on. Here it is, unwrapped.
There we go.
Wow.
So it's the same thing that this contest was going on for because it was
In the live chat, Chris King said, "Take it off. Take it off, buddy. Take it off."
okay. All right, Chris, hang on.
Well, no.
No, he meant the bubble wrap.
The bubble wrap.
Oh, bubble wrap. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
That was great. That was great.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
another thing, I picked those bad boys up, and so I already have one that's mine that's still in a box with a bunch of other Funko Pops that I haven't opened yet from Force Friday. That case that I haven't opened yet.
A one what that's yours? A one what?
The Supreme Leader.
Oh, okay. I
It's a
know
those
good
other-
thing. It's a
those
good
other-
thing you don't collect Funko Pops.
No, it is. It's a good thing I don't. Because the one
No,
goes to
Michael
somebody.
does not collect Funko.
The one goes. The one goes to the one guy that won the contest was somebody I went to high school with.
Mhm.
He's been posted on the TooMedToo. I don't know if you guys are on my. Oh, Anthony, you're not on Facebook, but Charles, my TooMedToo Facebook group or page. I forget which one he's been posting on.
I have a post for Twitter very soon for Facebook follows. So that's keep an eye out on our Twitter because we have exactly that coming up very soon.
So yeah, so he posts on my Facebook,
Hmm.
the TooMedToo Facebook page or
Okay.
group or page or whatever it is. And I've asked him a few times to be on here. It's just with his work schedule, school schedule, he doesn't really. He always says I might be able to make it, and then I send him the link. And that's about it. I never
Okay.
hear
Right.
from him, but so he should be good when he comes on here. So here's another one, which yeah. So one of those goes to him, one of them goes to somebody else, and then King Tom actually, because I did for whoever signs up new, got that, and then I do one for like the whole entire list of people on my subscribers page, so they're not left out. That way, they get people to be like, hey, you should sign up for this guy. You might win, and then maybe I get a chance. I mean, their chance of winning is much less, but still something for just subscribing to me. It ended up being King Tom.
Nice. Nice.
So I need to contact him and let him know, and I'm gonna give him his choice pick of my Funko Pops that I have in my bag. I have a bag of Funko Pops for donations or giveaways or for people or. Oh, would you look at this bad boy? Oh,
What? What? What's in the bag?
Oh, give it, dude! That is
Get
awesome.
out of here.
Wow. Pat and I have built. We bought two C-3POs, destroyed one to break him apart so we could do the Chewie and the C-3PO from Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
Wow, that is beautiful.
you know it's even better than that, right?
Giving it to us?
Oh no.
You got 2 of them?
I got 2 of them now.
Oh,
Oh no!
that is fantastic.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll.
That's your
Well, you
750. There's your 750. When you hit 750 subscribers, there's your reward.
There you go. Boom! As Mr. Ed would say.
But that is a fantastic mark you've hit with 500. That is amazing. Before the new year, that's amazing. Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Well, I thought it was never going to happen. That's why I said double it up. If I hit it before Christmas, I'd double it up. And I wasn't on. There was no way I was going to do it. And I said, okay, I'll extend it to Christmas Day. And and it was if I did it before Christmas, I would do double or whatever. And it's as soon as I said I'll do it, I'll extend it including Christmas Day. I don't know what happened. I don't think it really had anything to do with that extending it the day. I started instead of getting like 4 or 5 or 6 of them a day, I started getting like 10 or 12 people a day joining.
Wow.
So it was just like all of a sudden I started, those 3 or 4 days, I did what I do in 2 weeks.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So it was just like, and it started to drop back down. So it's just kind of like sales. You do really well in sales. You have a couple good days, a couple bad days, a couple medium days. And then the last couple of days I haven't sold any, but I haven't really been promoting it because I was already at my 500.
Yeah, that's a good mark to hit. And just know that Pat and I are living vicariously through you while you go to Celebration, California, because we're not going. So we hope the best that you can get hit there. Oh, fantastic. So you are our one in with that one place.
So we got him to halfway there.
That's
Sitting
fantastic.
At 500 right now.
That's
now
fantastic.
we got to lend a helping hand.
Yep. Next 500.
Yeah, he needs 500 more.
Yep.
I need 500 more in the next 6 months.
That's doable.
We can do that.
That's totally doable.
It's very doable. We can do that.
All right, so we have another one.
Oh, well, that's different looking. I'm gonna go and guess that's a book. Am I wrong? Is that a book?
No, I just don't think it was for me. It's addressed to me. Oh no, this is a Christmas present for somebody.
Oops.
And who's the somebody? Not you.
I don't think it's for
you?
me. No, it's addressed to me and my girlfriend. Our Christmas presents came. Some of them came addressed to both of us.
Okay.
So I think it's for her. Not for me, but who knows?
Probably not a Star Wars thing, I'm guessing.
No.
Which is alright. No,
She won't watch.
good.
She won't watch this. It's a coffee. It's a travel mug. So here we go. We'll do this one. Yeah. So I don't.
What's in there?
Oh. All right. This is really an ironic day.
Oh,
Because
you have no idea.
the first box I opened was 2 things I already have 2 of that are for giveaways.
Okay.
The next box I opened is a duplicate Black Series thing that Charles said I should do for a giveaway and probably will. And then I opened that one up and it's a book.
Oh,
Aw.
wow. That is fantastic.
And I'm too lazy to go find it, but I already have this book. I'm not too lazy. I'm gonna find that
850.
son of a bitch.
850.
If I knew where it was, I would grab it real quick.
Tarkin's Top Shelf just did an episode on their show about that book.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had the
Beck and Mark. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just did an episode on their
They're
show about that book.
they had the
Fantastic show.
they had the author on.
Yep,
That is awesome.
So
Wow.
it really is.
so everything I opened today was doubles.
We're doubles.
Wow.
So there you go. So 750 is the Chewie and C3PO, and 850 is that book.
Well, no, because I have the. Oh yeah, I have those too though. Those.
But that Chewie and C3PO is not cheap, man. That's
No.
an expensive set.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like I said at the start, we're up in Canada right now, so
Mhm.
we went to Toys R Us Canada because, of course, they're not in bankruptcy, and they
No,
had the C3PO and Chewbacca set for what was it, $47 Canadian. I looked at it, it's like, wow, that's a beautiful piece, but that's kind of steep. But they had it at Toys R Us, by the way, so just to let you know. For value, face value, what you can sell it for.
I think that's pretty cheap.
Well, there you go. I should have bought it.
Wow, Charles. Now you're up there, up north. You're making me remember when I'm listening to Tumbling Saber with
Yes. Yeah.
Kyle, Corbin, and Corliss, and
Yeah.
what all they're finding.
And
all
Rebel
they're
Scum,
finding-
Rebel Scum Network, same thing. They're
Yes.
in Toronto. He found like all
Yeah.
those. Yeah. I'm extremely jealous, but I'm up here. I can find them all.
Good. Pick them up and take them back home to Florida.
Well,
Wow.
just a second. Wait a second.
Oh no. What do you got?
Wait a second.
Oh,
IG-11.
IG-11.
Oh, holy force. I even went hunting for him down here in western Pennsylvania. Couldn't find him. Holy
Oh no!
force.
So I got
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
I got
Go.
IG-11 from who was it? Best Buy has them.
I don't care,
around
Michael.
here.
I don't care.
And
I don't care.
well, no, Best Buy has them on sale for had them on sale
Yeah.
for like 14 bucks or whatever. So I order
Yeah.
one, and it comes in a bubble envelope, and it's crushed.
I still don't care.
So
I don't care.
so I get another IG-11. And they send me the replacement. It comes in a bubble envelope, and it's crushed.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, "Well, you can keep it for 10% off." And I was like, "What's the point?" They're like, "No." So now I got to send them back. They won't send anyone to the store. They only send a replacement one time. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I went hunting on site for and couldn't find. So I don't care.
Now, I can tell you that Michael and Anthony and everyone in the chat right now, even co-host Pat doesn't know that I have IG-11. I haven't shared that picture with him yet. So you guys all know before he knows that I've got IG-11 in our possession.
And he doesn't
Get
do
out of here.
the social media thing, so he won't.
Exactly.
you don't.
So,
I mean,
until
I have
Go ahead.
the two boxes. I have the two boxes sitting there. I just got to take them to the UPS drop-off place to drop them off to take them. But it's just they're such idiots over there. They're a pain in the ass, and it's like, you know.
That's
All
so
right.
good.
As
I'm gonna get-
UPS does, I understand.
I'm gonna get one more thing that I don't think is gonna be a double, and then that's
You
it.
don't think, but do you know? You're not
No, I don't.
thinking, but
Could
do you
be.
know? Could be, maybe it might be. We'll see.
Well, I'm looking at one thing now that I know is a double. That one I want to open.
Are you looking at the thing that you spoke to?
I'm
if
looking
you
at
take
something
my
that I know
name.
is a double. Okay. I think
Coming
that's a
back
double
with the
too.
box.
I'm working on it.
Take your time. Take your time.
By the way, Chris King just made an awesome suggestion in the chat where he said that perhaps the doubles could be a Patreon reward, like a random Patreon.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea.
There's a thing right there.
All right. Well, you know what we're gonna do?
What are we
We're
gonna
gonna-
do, Michael?
We're gonna keep it a day of doubles
Ooh.
right now.
Well, who's we? You got a French mouse in your pocket?
Come on. We're gonna
There's
keep
a
it.
little one.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a big.
That's a
box.
big box.
No.
Jeez.
My
That
my
right
merch-
there is a big.
my merch opening is getting very depleted by my run of
Advent days, yeah.
Advent Day. Well, Advent Day, you know, that's 24 days of
That's
of merch, so-
fantastic. I enjoyed every one of them.
Okay, so here we go.
I don't.
All right.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Well, I mean, it
You're not
depends.
nearly depleted. You're sitting on things you ain't opened up yet for months.
For 2 years.
Or
Okay.
that.
Things I have in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider, like, if I open the box, does that mean everything has to come out of there? Like, let's say 25 Funko Pops, or can I pull like 5 out, and then the next week pull out like 5?
I just think you got so many boxes you ain't opened up yet. That's what I'm thinking.
I really don't, though. I mean, I'm about to order some stuff this week, but that's besides the point. But okay, so here we go. Here's the box. Here's the
More
box.
like next door to the point, but okay.
Well, you know. I mean, you know, I didn't quit drinking just so I could collect Star Wars stuff, but you know, at least it gives me something to spend my money on.
Yeah,
You
me
never-
neither. I didn't never quit drinking either.
I was
didn't
gonna.
quit drinking. Sipping whiskey
Whoa.
right now.
What are you doing?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Come on, let's do our
What's
7.
in the box?
What's in the box?
Okay, so it's a double of something that I got a couple weeks ago that we know about.
Not another Supreme Leader Kylo Ren.
Nope.
Ooh.
Get out of here.
Wow.
So it has the knit hat and the comic book
That's a mystery box, right?
and
Wow.
the pin. Yeah, it has. I'll show you everything it has in it. Because this I do know, or I have.
It's the mystery.
And on the shelf here is the comic book.
Is that the
Okay, so this is what.
have a snow trooper on it?
Yep.
Ooh. Nice.
And it has the hat.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice. There's Sith,
And-
Sith emblem. Nice, nice.
It has the First
Ooh.
Order pin. And it has the.
Oh, the nice, and it's the special edition too.
Yep.
Nice. Yep.
First Order Jump Trooper.
That was the one that on the day of Force Friday, everyone was
Yeah.
going crazy because they couldn't figure out where the extra, where's this other trooper that we're missing, or where's this other figure that we're missing? What is it? Even like on Yak Face. And then it has the collector's mystery box. And it just says a mystery figure or whatever, but it doesn't say that it's one of these or whatever. You don't know what it's going to be. So everybody was going crazy. They couldn't, with whatever, I don't know, stuff, I guess, words. So,
Wow, down here in western Pennsylvania, I was finding many of them jump troopers, be it first order or the Sith trooper
Mm-hmm.
jump troopers. Yeah, they was down here.
Were
by
they
the
in that white
thousands.
packaging? Were they in the white boxes?
They were they were in the regular 6-inch Black Series
Okay,
boxes.
yeah, right.
But
Okay,
there's bunches and
yeah.
bunches of them down here that just for myself didn't take a liking for me, but hoping somebody's gonna go and pick them up and give them a happy home.
Yep, yep.
The only one thing that I couldn't find for myself down here that I still don't have yet is the Mandalorian Black Series 6-inch. I still can't find him.
Pat,
That's the
he
one I
could
want.
not. Pat and I searched for the first week after May the 4th, couldn't find it. He finally ordered it after frustration through Amazon, and is now back ordered till March.
Oh,
so unless you got it that March, the May, Force Friday, they're back ordered till March of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think I'll go try and give up looking for that.
Yeah, it's unless you find some special place that didn't sell it. We went everywhere, like GameStop. We went everywhere with the carbonized version. We could not find it anywhere, and we just gave up and it's like, well, let's just order it so we have it, and it's now back ordered till March 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just funny the regions that have things, and like when I'm looking for some stuff still on, even though I don't collect Funko Pops, some of the stuff off of Target exclusives. I forget whatever they're called, like the ones that they're like speckled, they're painted or whatever, the Funkos. It's just they're called something different. I forget what they're.
Oh, for Funko, yeah, for Funko, right.
And they like one store, like it's like one store will get them in, and it's the only store in New York City that gets them in, and then they run out of them, and then a couple of days later, or a week or two later, another store gets them, and they get them all. It's like instead of giving every store a case or a couple here or there, it's like one store get. Well, it's not just like a regular Target where you have like 3 Targets in your neighborhood or whatever. One of them gets it. It's like one Target out of 15 get it in New York City, and that's the one that gets it. And
we couldn't find when we were looking for the Mandalorian, like the actual, just the Mandalorian. There was nothing in Southwest Florida from Tampa to Fort Myers that had the Mandalorian in stock. We couldn't order it at all. So we had to go through Amazon to order it. Well, Pat ordered it through Amazon. There was nothing available through Target, through anywhere else that would have had the actual figure in stock to be able to order it through.
Wow. I've been down that a ways, so I know what you're talking about. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was like Michael was saying, where the region wasn't profitable enough. I don't know, but there was no Mandalorian available in our area. So even if we went to every store and looked for them, they wouldn't have showed up anyways.
Yeah, same for up here. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kilo just said they're Futura. Funko Futura. So they like they're like painted or like have like if somebody like threw a paintbrush at it or whatever. But yeah, so like those are just cool. Like there's what I'm gonna get. I'm getting it from Europe. I don't know why. Like the US doesn't have it yet, but Europe does.
Wow.
I'm getting it from Amazon UK. So it's $16 instead of $14. But it's like, okay, I don't know, why they're getting it and I'm not, but that's one of the things on my list that I have to get because I got some gift cards for Amazon, so I'm going to be getting some books. I'm going to be getting a really expensive book that I'm getting for really cheap because I'm getting it used. Getting a $200 book for $30, and then getting a couple other $2 books, and then a Funko, and calling it a day. So I have some to open up for you guys.
Nice.
So is maybe one of them really expensive books you're getting, Michael, might be the pop-out book?
No, I already have that one.
Oh, well, I
I
can't
just-
wait.
I just haven't opened it up
to
yet
go and see what
because
that is.
I haven't opened that up because it's still in my bag of all the ones that I bought when I went to New York Comic Con, and the authors were there, and my books were at home. So the only way for me to get them signed is to buy more books.
Pretty much.
So
Can't wait
Coming
to
and
see
going.
what all
Yeah.
that is.
So those are going to be on a separate video.
Yeah.
Those
we
books
got
will open
time
up.
yet.
Just like when I was looking when I went to go get this guy and I saw this guy, I still have the big Funko Pop that I bought. That's been sitting there that hasn't been opened.
10-inch?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That I haven't opened. I was gonna grab that one. I was like, no, that one's either. I got at least 2 more episodes left of this with. I have Smuggler's Bounty box up there. I have another Smuggler's Bounty box that's getting delivered this week. So that will cover the next 2 episodes.
There we go.
I have. It all depends on if I decide to open up stuff for tomorrow. Because, like I was saying, that by the time I get home and I do anything, tomorrow I can't do anything. It's too late for me to go do any. Make plans or do anything. I mean, I can see what my friends are doing, but then I just go sit at a bar while they all get drunk, and that's not a lot of fun. Well, especially it's New Year, so they're going to be hammered. They've been drinking all day. It's not like going to meet them to hang out and talk Star Wars or whatever. Especially since I don't drink. Like that doesn't bother me being around people that drink. That doesn't bother me at all. But it's like when people are getting so fucking shit faced because it's New Year's, and I'm sitting here being like, well, I could be home watching Star Wars, playing with my puppy right now. Which one would I rather choose? I'd rather be at my house. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream for New Year's.
Oh.
For some Star Wars people, if anybody's on.
I'm on because I'm free from my work day tomorrow and even New Year's Day, and I'm just going to be here looking for some of my Star Wars friends and be sipping a little bit of whiskey, but I'm right here, and it's just me.
I mean,
I don't have my girls, and just going to be talking some Star Wars, sipping a little bit of whiskey with my Star Wars friends.
I mean, I got a really crazy idea. There could always be I can't get sound on that. I was going to say a Rise of Skywalker watch party.
Ooh.
But I can't get sound on it, and it doesn't have. I can't have sound and talk to you guys at the same time because I'd be playing on TV. I'd have it on TV, and then if I have it on sound, then it's going to play, and then I'm going to get in trouble from Lucasfilm for having it play on there. I don't know how that really works out or whatever.
Right.
They don't. You get in trouble. You get in trouble for the music. That's what they hit you with. You get in trouble for the music. You don't get in trouble for.
Well, I'm going to go and ask you right here now, Michael, because I already said I did. I have it.
Yep.
Do you?
So if Anthony broadcast it and then you commented, that would work, right?
Well, I don't technically have it as in downloaded, but I can stream it. So it's the same thing.
Mm.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Well, unfortunately, I will be. Well, not unfortunately, I will be with family tomorrow, so I won't be able to join you. But that sounds fantastic.
No,
I don't know. I'll still have to figure that out.
Family. You're with family, Charles. That's not unfortunate. That's
you're
a fortunate thing.
100% right.
Well,
It's fortunate. Yes, you're right.
That's why my Advent one didn't come out until the 24th, because I went to Pappas's house, and then on the way home I stopped to see my girlfriend at work and ended up staying at her work, hanging out with her and all of her friends. So I didn't get home
Yes, you
until I didn't get home. I don't know. We left there at like 2 a.m. So I didn't get home until like 3 or 4 or whatever time it was by the time I walked the dog or whatever. Then I was like, fuck this. I'm not making a video now. Like I'm not doing it. I'm going to do it tomorrow. So it was Christmas Day, and I told my girlfriend I was going to make a video, really quick. I'd be right back. And she told my girlfriend doesn't swear, and she told me she would fucking kill me if I did Star Wars. If I did Star Wars on Christmas Day.
Excuse me.
So I was like, okay, no, I guess I'm gonna wait till you fall asleep then. And that never happened. And then the next day never happened. It was just like, so I ended up making it yesterday and put it up yesterday or last night. 3 or 4 days late, but when the boss tells you what to do, you can only get away with so much before they get too mad at you.
You follow
But
through.
yeah,
Yep.
Chris King Jam Transmissions is doing one at 7 live stream at 7:30 or 8:30.
Yes,
and-
that's Pete and Josh from Jan
Yep.
Transmissions. Yes.
So, but they're not going to be on all night, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to get on and just do like a little Star Wars chat with those East Coast people or whoever's going to be celebrating New Year's.
We're all East Coast people here. All three of us are also East Coast people.
Yep.
Well, the three of us are, but I don't know. Everybody else.
Pete and Josh are too, because they're Eastern. They're
Okay.
dentures. Eastern Kentucky. They're amongst friends. They're the same as us.
Kilo's in Chicago, so he's an hour behind.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know about Nick, where Nick's from. I know Nick's friends with Kilo, but I don't know if they're from the same area. So he's an hour behind, but I'm just saying. Chris, I don't know if Chris.
Chris is Eastern Kentucky.
Okay, so he's all right. Well, maybe do a little Star Wars talk tomorrow. Or I was thinking about live streaming some Fallen Order, since I haven't played that in almost a month. It's been about 3 weeks. I know Anthony has been watching me. He's been watching I think YouTube already completed ones.
You're doing Fallen Order tonight, 11 o'clock, around thereabouts.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
I was thinking tomorrow instead of doing a live chat like this, where we're actually talking or whatever. But it would just be me playing and then everybody talking in the chat. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet.
On Twitch or some such?
I do it. No, it'd be on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Like I've done my other one. Like I've done my other ones on YouTube. But when I did the first one, I couldn't get things worked out on the computer.
Okay.
And then the second time I'd played, I still had more problems. The third time I played, I still had more problems. And then I played like 3 more times. But I haven't played video games in 15, 20 years. So I didn't know what to do and how to jump and what buttons to push. So I'm, I didn't know how to crawl up the wall. And people are, Kilo
Screaming
Customs is telling me, he's like, you got to hit this button, go this way, do that, do this.
Yeah, video games nowadays versus 20 years ago, like how you and me was playing. Yeah, that's 2 different animals. They're really 2 different things.
But it might just be me laying down in my bed watching some Star Wars movie, playing some video games. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet, but we'll see.
I'll see if I can make it for that, and please don't fault me if I don't. But We'll see what happens.
Or I might do a little live stream, for a little while. See if I get anybody, chatting with me, and then do some video gaming later on because my girlfriend's not going to be home till God knows when. Because she's working tomorrow, and her restaurant's in Times Square. So I don't know. I don't know if she has a manager closing or not, or what's going on, or if she's got to stay and close or whatever. So, she's gonna be home late. Even if she got out of there early, she'd still get home late with the traffic and everything. So
Yeah.
Even early is late.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
her early is gonna be after my live stream is over.
Yeah.
And even if I do a live stream for Fallen Order, she'll still be getting home after that. So,
Mhm.
and that's still probably her
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
So I mean that's so if I did a live stream from 11 to 12:30 or 1, and then did a stream from we got someone popping in here really quick right at the end. It's the way to do it.
As they do.
Chris King popping in to say
Hey.
hello.
It's Chris King.
Nice.
I had to pop in because this was my Christmas gift.
Nice.
Yeah,
I finally got it. So funny story though, it's still in its wrapper. These I haven't made it yet, but I noticed Christmas Day Battlefront 2 was on sale for like $12. So I bought it, and my wife is thinking that I've been playing this new one that she got me, but I've been playing Battlefront. On that,
So you have yet to play that, as
No.
I understand, right?
No, I'm terrible at video games. So I got caught in like the first room where Eden Verso's trying to get out of the room, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. So I quit a long time ago. But yeah, I got pretty far. I guess into the space battle on the other night. So I was pretty impressed with myself.
Well,
Nice.
yins are all ahead of me because my most recent game system I got is PlayStation 2. So yours are all light years ahead of me.
That was
I
impressive.
bought an Xbox One. Or no, not an Xbox One, an Xbox. I think
Wow.
those came out in '99. So I would have bought
Mhm.
mine in probably. Oh, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Well, I know where I was living. I'm trying to think who I was dating at the time, because that would depend on when it was. So probably 2001.
Wow.
Or
That's what I was thinking.
2001 ish. So 2001, 2002. I bought an Xbox, and that was the
You
last
still
video.
got it?
No, that's a whole other story in itself. I
Okay.
think I think I screamed about that. I think I screamed about that here before. I'll say that. Anthony, ask me to tell you about that next week because it's getting late. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to make everybody
Okay.
hate me. I don't want to scare everybody
No,
away
we're good.
at 11:30 at night. So
No, we're good.
So
But,
hey, I was gonna also bring up: is anybody else's Twitter feed a complete dumpster fire in the last few days?
Not mine. Not mine.
Well,
Nope.
listen, I thought I had mine in pretty good shape, but man, there's some mad people out there. And
There are, but it's about who you follow.
well,
It's
well,
about who you follow.
I agree.
And no, mine is. I haven't took a look since we've been in here for how long have we been in here for? All right, we've been in here for 3 hours. But no, even before this live chat happened, when I was taking a look at my mentions or folks there, no, my timeline
That's
is
interesting.
so, just to me. My timeline is full of so many potters of folks. I see a little bit here and there about what kind of silliness and momentary madness is going on, but no,
Today
me-
there were people freaking out about so apparently the last shot of the movie was the same
Oh
shot
yeah.
as when she was on Pisana, and
Yeah.
I mean they were losing their minds.
Yeah, I
was
saw
like,
that.
What? What?
Um,
Who cares?
there's-
Why does this affect anything?
there's a I don't know how to do it, but there's a way you can set up like I could set up like I have my Twitter feed, everybody I follow, and then I could set it up where it's like only podcasts or something like that, like podcasters or whatever. Like you can branch it off into like different groups,
You make
so
lists.
you can have like different one Twitter feed would have it broken up into different ways, I think. But I also have like where you can click on people that you follow.
Charles, what are you seeing in your Twitter feed?
Well, I'm pretty good with the positivity. I think that for the most part, I'll see some retweets of negative stuff, but I'm pretty empty of the negative stuff. So but it takes curation. You got to look at it. You got to select who you're going to follow, and it takes work. It takes work sometimes, for sure.
Well, because there's also you can like get notified when people tweet or whatever. So I have I have about 900 people that I follow. But I have about 80 people or 90 people that I get notified when they tweet, because I don't know how to set it up where like I want to be able to just see this group or these people or whatever, however it is you can set it up, like break it off. I don't know how to do that. So I have like I can go and click on and see if any of these 80 people tweeted or everything that was tweeted, so I can scroll back an hour or two or the last time I checked it. But that's how I have mine.
I'm just going to take a look right now that I have 775 folks that chooses for whatever reason to follow me, and I have
There's huge reasons
316 that I choose to follow. But yeah, even out of that, I don't. It's mostly Star Wars podcasters and other listeners like Charles and Chris and Michael and so many more of our friends that Yuns 3 and followers of Yuns that also choose to follow me, that I still don't get the kind of, I see little peaks like Chris said and like Charles said and also like Michael said. Yeah, I see the little bits of that negativity, but I just scroll on past it.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. I got no want for it. But
I only follow probably 200 or so people, and it gets to the point where every once in a while I'll see so and so like this tweet, and it won't be somebody that I follow at all. So I'm just seeing something that somebody else liked, and that's normally when I pick up some of the crazy.
Well, Chris, are you going to be around tomorrow night? I don't know what you got going on.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
going to be. Okay, well, I'm either going to be chatting like this or chatting while I play some video games. So,
cool. Listen,
I
want to go on and let you all know, if you're considering procreating, don't do it 2 weeks before a Star Wars movie comes out, because that makes life very interesting. So, just FYI. I haven't done a whole lot of my live chats and my podcasts, and everything is off kilter. But
I don't think you mean procreating. I think you mean the act that happens after procreating.
Yes,
that's because you can procreate on any time. But all right, I think
just don't do any of it.
Made me take a look at my timeline, and I see Andrew Signer and the Rogue Squadron podcast and Doug from Rated the Car. These and Mark from podcast 2187. Oh, they're killing me. Oh, they're killing me. Go give them each a follow because there are so many good friends. And I'm just go look them up because so much fun. So much fun.
Good night, friends.
All right, Charles. Charles, everyone, you can find
Charles.
Charles on Conversations. He does an amazing podcast with his friend Pat.
He sure
Thank you.
does.
Thank you very much.
Recommend.
Have a great night.
night.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
May the force
Good night,
be
Charles.
with you, friends.
Peace. All right.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. I think we're about done for the night. We got another long one. Didn't I say like an hour and a half ago it was going to be a short one? 2 hours ago it was going to be a short one.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You maybe might have. You maybe might have.
I was getting kids to bed an hour and a half ago. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
No, I
No apologies.
I said it was going to be. I said it was going to be a short one.
You know, there is no better truth in music than mom and dad can hardly wait for school to start again. That is 100% truth.
Yes, sir. I'll find you in that Twitterverse, and we'll find each other in the next live stream chat.
Oh, and we got Moria Kitty stopped back. She said, she said, "Hi, you guys are still at it? What the hell's wrong with you? Go do something."
We are. We're doing it right now. That's what
No,
we're
she
doing.
didn't really say that. I just made that up. Because it has.
I didn't make
No,
it up.
I did. I mean, I said I was going to be a short one tonight, and
Yeah, you did, but I didn't.
okay, you're right. Not like my one the other night with last week with Trevor. It was 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it was. I was there for it.
I know. You got out of there quick you just left. You gave an Irish
Well,
exit
I
on
had
that
to go
one.
to work the next morning. I had to go to work the next morning, so I had to.
Hey,
Yeah.
real quick. Yesterday, I saw number 3, and I saw it in IMAX 3D. I don't really like 3D. I try to avoid 3D when I can, but it was awesome in 3D. It was really fun. There were a few scenes that jumped out, but just that opening crawl in 3D. I don't guess I've ever seen Star Wars in 3D before, because that was impactful. So
you got to try it in 4D sometime.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
You got to try it in 4D sometime.
We don't have that kind of technology in Kentucky.
That's where you sit in there. You can't have popcorn or pop or anything with it because you're fucking getting jerked around and everything, going crazy. As you sit in the chair and you're like, this is a big chair, and it moves. It's like a fucking ride, dude. I'm not joking at all. Yeah. It's like, and when somebody gets hit, your seat moves and gets hit like a massage chair arm gets popped into your back. It shoots water at you. There's sprays and smells and
wow.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. You pay an extra $10 for your ticket, but it's like you're on a ride at Disney. It's like a ride at Disneyland, bro. I
would have to drive to Chicago or maybe Indianapolis. That hasn't touched us here in the Southeast yet.
Okay. No, even up here in Western Pennsylvania. My memories was Chris. Now, I paid last 2 times I got to go see this. I paid $3 for me, $9 for myself and my 2 girls to go see this. No, I'll never pay no money to get my ass thrown around in a theater and sprayed on. And no.
$9.
I'd get sprayed on for Star Wars.
No,
$9. $9 won't
for
get
$3.
you. $9 won't even get you in the door here, even at a matinee at a cheap place. The cheap place I go, the cheap one I go to is $12. It's $10. It's $12. $12 all day long. That's the cheap one.
Now you know why I never left Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we've got one that's $5 on Tuesdays. That's the best.
$3 before matinee for me up
really.
here.
It's pretty good.
2 p.m. in the afternoon is $3.99. I'm never leaving Western Pennsylvania. Sorry.
It'd probably be
Not
cheaper for
sorry.
me to. It'd probably be cheaper for me to rent a helicopter, fly to Anthony's house, watch the movie, and fly back than it would be for me to go get a movie. And $20, $25 for popcorn, and because I get a large, it's an extra. I'm one of those people that it's like, it's $8.99 for a small or $10.99 for a large. Well, you go for the large for the extra $2. Do you need it? No, but you get a free refill. Popcorn. They were talking about it on. They were talking about Cannibite Dispatch this week because Boo from the Sith List. He gets the large popcorn and large popcorn. I don't know if he gets the popcorn. You get large popcorn. You get a free refill from it when And I get my free. I eat the popcorn while I'm there. I get my free refill when I'm leaving. I walk up to the counter, get my free refill, and I take my popcorn home. And then you got popcorn for the next couple of days or whatever. And they were making fun of him for it. And I was like, no, that's what I do too. That I think a lot of people do that, especially like when I was growing up. I think I've talked about this before. We never really wanted for anything as kids, but we were middle class. We were never well off. My dad worked a full-time job and usually a part-time job. My mom worked full-time. We always had everything that we needed. We always had great Christmases and birthdays and stuff like that. But we never went to the movies. There was 5 of us too, 5 kids. So that was another thing too. If you take 5 kids, that's movie tickets. And the way we were, you got pop and popcorn or whatever it was, or the large. So when we went to the movies, it was a show, like actually a show, like an experience, like you're doing something. So you'd get popcorn and pop and be all happy and everything was all good. So I still have that mentality where I go, when my girlfriend's like, oh no, we don't need anything. I'm like, we're going to the movies. Like, you need pop and popcorn and candy. Like, what are you doing? So, I still get, because we never went and it was like a big production when we went, that like we got everything. So now I'm still in the same mindset. Like, I need my pop, I need my popcorn. Maybe I'll get some candy. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. Candy was always the extra treat that we never got to get. So if it was a real special occasion, just like my dad taking me or like my mom or something like that, you got, but so it's like, I get the popcorn on the way home, or if I went to the movies, we went to the movies, my dad would take me, we'd get popcorn on the way out. That way he'd bring it home for my mom. Yeah, you can buy popcorn. Popcorn's cheap or whatever, but it's still, just like the whole, the whole ritual, the whole scenario, the whole thing. It's just, kind of that's the way it is. That's the way it is for me. I've gotten out of it a little bit, but you go to I have right down the street from me, I have one of those sit down theaters, or like where you have waiters and stuff like that, and they bring you popcorn, you get a little bowl of popcorn. Well, I'm paying $3.99 for a bowl of popcorn. You get 2 of those or 3 of those, you might as well go and bought the big jumbo one that's going to give you 5 times as much, but they don't have those there. They just have the nice little pretty bowls. So, and you can't get a big old gallon of soda. You got to get, a 16-ounce glass of pop, and that's what they serve you and everything. So it's, but whatever.
Really
I don't know.
I'd really wondered what it would be like for you, Michael, to go through that in a small town, like where I am or where Chris is, in a small town.
Oh, I mean,
vastly different from what you know.
I mean, I'm originally from Buffalo, so it's a smaller town, not a small town like you, where there's 4 people in it. No,
down here where I am, it's there's the population of the town I live in right now. It's not the one I grew up in, but there's 5,000 people down here.
That's about one.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, so I grew up in
Brooklyn.
I grew up in Buffalo, and still, there was 250,000 people then. I think it's down to 200,000 now or whatever. But there was still, you know, the farm that my grandma lived on and that my dad was at. You know, that was, 2,000 people or whatever, but it was still only a half hour away from Buffalo. So, I don't know what it's like to live in a town of 4,000 people and go to the movie theater and it's only $2.99 and 2019 still. But all right, so I know I've said that I was gonna cut it short an hour and a half ago, and I know I've said for the last half hour that we need to go. But because of certain things in my life, I need to go now.
Yes,
So-
sir.
I understand.
We'll catch up next week.
Or I get no dinner, I was just told.
Yep, we'll catch up next week.
Priority.
All right. And Kilo, it's not like I gotta go. I can live stream till my dinner's ready. It's a little bit different than that. So no, that's kind of an inside joke about something else. But yeah. So all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Chris King, for stopping in. Thank you for supporting the show and making this show possible. Anthony, Rural Farm Boy, thank you for being Anthony, Rural Farm Boy, and bringing us all together in this positive fandom.
And we will see each other next year, 2020.
Well, some of us will see each other before 2020. Some of us will see each other
Maybe
at
we will.
2020, and some of us will see each other after 2020. But all right, I really need to go now. So
Be that which it may, we will
Yeah.
all catch up with each other at some
I
point
need-
at
I need-
2020.
I need to do a little bit of cleaning up, and
Yes, sir.
we'll be on tomorrow night around 10 to 11 ish. We'll start, and it will either be some video games or some chatting Star Wars. Maybe I'll do some reading on some books, and we'll talk about those. I don't know. But
So
with
maybe
that,
I'll be there, maybe I won't. We'll see who's what's which. But for us right here, us now three, may the force be with my friends.
do you want to say hi? Are you sure you don't want to say hi?
Oh,
Okay. All right. See you next year, everybody.
Yes, sir.
And I said good day. May the force be with you. I need to go so I don't get in trouble.